Yes, students, now we will revise the topic of accounts and records as given in section 35 and 36 of CGST Act, where it is mentioned who should maintain the accounts and records under GST, what all records they have to maintain, and where they have to maintain, and also how long they have to maintain. So, first we will see section 35, then we will go and understand section 36, guys. Okay. Section 35 subsection 1 specifies every registered person. Okay, that means whoever is registered under GST, they have to maintain accounts and records. Shall keep and maintain at his principal place of business as mentioned in the certificate of registration a true and correct account of. Okay, true and correct account of what and all? Production or manufacture of accounts, inward and outward supply of goods or services or both, that is both with respect to sales as well as purchases. Then stock of goods, that is inventory details. Then input tax credit availed, that is on the inward supply. Then output tax payable as well as paid through cash ledger, that is on the outward supply, and such other particulars as may be prescribed, provided that where more than one place of business is specified in the certificate of registration, that is the branches, guys, which we call it as additional place of business, the accounts relating to each place of business shall be kept at such places of business. This is only when the registered person has a branches. Okay. Then coming to subsection 2, every owner or operator of the warehouse or a godown or any other place used for storage of goods, and every transporter, okay, the owner of the godown along with the transporter, irrespective of whether he is registered person or not, shall maintain the records of the consignor, consignee, and other relevant details of goods. So the owner of the godown or warehouse or even the transporter, they are handling the goods of other persons, guys. So they have to maintain the details about who is the consignor, who is the consignee, and also when goods was received and when it will be delivered or dispatched. All these details has to be maintained by them. Oh. Then subsection 3, the commissioner may notify a class of taxable persons to maintain additional accounts or documents. So as per subsection 1, we have already seen what all has to be maintained. This is, sir, the basic details to be maintained. But can the proper officer or the commissioner specify a person to maintain more records or more details? Yes. That power is given to the commissioner as per subsection 3. Using it, what are the additional records to be maintained is actually given in the rules, guys. So I have given it here. Let me just go through it. So the additional records to be maintained by specified person are as follows. First one, if they are engaged in import and export, they have to maintain the details about the import transaction as well as export transactions. So what all details has to be maintained, sir? Invoices, bill of supply, delivery challan, credit and debit notes, receipt voucher, payment voucher, refund voucher, and e-way bills, along with various documents which you will handle with respect to import and export, like shipping bill, bill of exports, such documents, guys. Okay. Then coming to stock or inventory, opening balance, inward and outward supply, that is purchase and sales, lost or destroyed goods, then premise details, that is where the goods are stored, goods supplied as a gift or free samples, then balance of stock, which is nothing but the closing stock of raw material, finished goods, and scrap. Guys, simple. They have to maintain the data like this. So, what is the opening stock plus purchases minus sales as well as loss? That will give us what? Closing stock. Sir, even loss has to be recorded? Yes, it is a must, guys. Goods lost or destroyed or given as a free samples, let it be anything. Please record it. It is not like a sales, but we need to deduct it. Sales is when we have sold it for the recipients or customers. Whereas goods lost is like, sir, I have lost it during the storage or wherever it is lost, we need to record it. For GST, it is mandatory to record the goods lost, guys. Okay, sir. Fine. Then coming to the tax details, tax payable, tax collected and paid, that is from the recipients, then input tax credit on the inward supply, then ITC claimed, because few input tax cannot be claimed as credit, guys, where the conditions given under section 16 is not satisfied or the credit is blocked as per section 17. So this may not be equal to ITC claimed. So please be careful. Out of the total ITC, how much we can claim, we need to record that also separately. Okay, sir. Then tax invoice, credit and debit notes, and delivery challan, various documents, guys. Okay. The last one is the people, that is the supplier as well as recipients details. Supplier means from whom we have taken the inward supply of goods or services. So we need to maintain their data, and also recipients data for whom we have made the outward supply of goods or services, guys. Got it? Yes, sir. So these are the additional records to be maintained. But one more thing is there. So the supplier who is registered under section 10, that is composition scheme, both the composition scheme, that is section 10.1 as well as 10.2a, for both whoever is following the composition scheme, for them this two details is not required. That is the stock details as well as tax details is not required, guys. Got it? In simple, for composition supplier who is registered under section 10, for them the stock details and tax details is not required. Of. Then going back to the section 35 subsection 4, guys, where the commissioner consider that any class of taxable person is not in a position to keep and maintain accounts in accordance with the provisions of this section, he may, for the reasons to be recorded in writing, permit such class of taxable person to maintain accounts in such manner as may be prescribed. Assume I am a small supplier registered under GST, but I am not able to maintain all the details given here. So can I request Commissioner, give me some exemption? Yes. If Commissioner feels so, he may tell, okay, Vikas, you maintain only so and so details. Is that clear? And that power is only with the Commissioner. He can give that exemption for me for not maintaining few records, not all the records. He cannot tell, okay, because don't maintain anything, go. No, no, no. Some basic details about purchase, sales, and all has to be maintained. But if I am not in a position to maintain all the data, I can request the commissioner telling, sir, it is a costly affair for me. I cannot afford too much to spend on maintaining the accounts. So please give me some exemption. Then accordingly, the commissioner can use his power to give the exemption. Okay. Then the last subsection, 35 subsection 5. Subject to the provisions of section 17.5H. Okay, first, what is 17.5H, guys? That is talking about block credit. If there is any loss of goods which is destroyed or lost by fire or even disposed of for free, or if it is given as a free samples, then credit is not available. On inward supply of such goods, credit is not available. That is what is given in section 17.5H. I repeat, sir, if any goods is lost, destroyed, disposed of, or given it as a free samples without consideration, then they're telling on inward supply there is no credit. On inward supply there is no credit. So what is section 35 subsection 5 is telling? Where a registered person fails to account for the goods or services or both in accordance with the provisions of subsection 1, that is maintenance of records, the proper officer shall determine the amount of tax payable on the goods or services or both that are not accounted for, as if such goods or services or both had been supplied by such person, and the provisions of section 73, 74 and 74A, which is a recovery sections. Guys, these three sections talk about recovery. When the supplier doesn't pay or the registered person doesn't pay what he is supposed to pay, then the proper officer will have all the powers to recover that amount along with interest penalty from the registered person. Okay, but anyway, these sections are not a part of your syllabus, so you need not worry. Shall apply for determination of such tax. Guys, simple. Now, whatever goods has been lost or given as free sample or disposed, the registered person should have recorded that in the books of accounts. I told you while discussing the stock details itself. Yes, if any goods is lost or destroyed, should we account for it? Yes. What if it is not accounted? Then they are telling we will treat it as if it is a sale, as if it is a good sold, and the registered supplier has to pay GST on it. Because many a times what happens, no, when there is any raid or stock audit, then they will tell, whenever there is a mismatch of actual inventory with the books, they will tell, oh, that goods is lost. Is it okay? No, if it is lost, you have to record it. Got it. So whenever there is a mismatch of inventory, assume the proper officer only came for a stock audit and there was a mismatch of the stock or inventory. In the books, it is like 1000 kgs, where actually it is only 800 kgs. Now, when proper officer questioned, the registered person is telling, sir, maybe it is lost, sir. Maybe it is lost. Is it so? Can you take that exemption or benefit? No, no. If it was lost, then he should have recorded in the books already. If he has not recorded, then 35 subsection 5 gives the power for the proper officer to decide or to declare that whatever goods has been lost, to consider it as a sales or outward supply, and registered person has to pay tax on it as if it is a supply, guys. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine. Now going to section 36. And they may also ask sometimes what are the accounts or records to be maintained with respect to certain business or certain persons, guys. For example, agent or works contract service and all. So you know what work they would be doing. For example, agent. So what are they doing? They are supplying the goods on behalf of the agent, or they are purchasing the goods on behalf of the agent. So what all details they have to maintain? You can just use your common sense to tell, sir. They have to maintain the principal details. Yes, the details of the goods they have received on behalf of the principal, or they have sold on behalf of the principal. Yes, and with respect to payment, all the details they have to maintain. Even if it is a works contract service, works contract means with respect to construction service. Yes, sir. So they have to record, sir, how much percentage of each work has been done for each contract, because normally at the end of the year the few of the contracts might not be completed. So in that case, please maintain for each and every contract how much work is done and how much payment is received. And you should also maintain, like, for each and every contract how much goods is used or how much services are used, like that. Is that clear? And with respect to works contract, there is also a credit block as per section 17.5. So is credit available or blocked as per section 17.5? Also maintain that data. Yes, sir. Okay. Now coming to section 36. Section 36 specifies how long should we maintain the books of accounts. Yes, sir. Every registered person required to keep and maintain books of accounts or other records in accordance with the provisions of section 35 subsection 1 shall retain them until the expiry of 72 months. 72 months from when? From the due date of furnishing the annual return, guys. Okay. For the year pertaining to such accounts and records. I have given one example here. Assume the books of accounts related to financial year 25-26. The due date to file annual return for 25-26 is what, guys? 31st December of next financial year. So in my case, it would be 31st December 2026. So from here, we need to take 72 months. So the books of accounts relating to financial year 25-26 has to be maintained for 72 months from 31st December 2026. That is till 31st December 2032. 2032, guys. Okay. However, a registered person who is a party to an appeal or a revision or any other case is going on against him or any other proceedings shall retain the books of accounts and other records pertaining to the matters of such appeal or revision for a minimum period of 1 year after the disposal of such appeal or revision as the case may be, guys. Sir, what is it? Guys, assume with respect to financial year 25-26, against the registered person, there is a case going on. And the final judgment, let us assume, is given on 15th December 2035. The final judgment or the decision is given by the court or the tribunal on 15th December 2035. Yes, they are telling you need to maintain the books of accounts from the final decision date for 1 more year. That is till 15 December 2036. The books of accounts relating to which year? 25-26. So if there is any appeal or revision or any proceedings going on against a registered person for a particular year, then over and above 72 months also, should he maintain the books of accounts? Yes. Till when, sir? Till 1 year from the date of the final disposal, guys. That is final judgment. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine, guys. So this is all about the accounts and records. You guys can just come to the first two page number where I have given the section number. We'll quickly mark it under CGST Act. Yes, sir. So we have covered till 34 already. Now we covered section 35 and 36, people. Yes, sir. And please be careful, there is no separate provisions with respect to accounts and records in the IGST Act. So as per section 20 of IGST Act, whatever we have covered under CGST Act under section 35 and 36, mutatis mutandis will be applicable even under IGST Act, guys. We are done. Yes, students, now we will revise the topic of e-way bill. The provisions with respect to e-way bill is given in section 68 of CGST Act, which has to be read along with few rules, guys. That is rule 138, 138A, 138B, C, D, E of CGST rules. Yes. And whatever provisions are contained in CGST Act, similar provisions are covered under even the SGST Act, that is the state laws. and there is no separate provisions with respect to e-way bill covered in IGST Act. So as per section 20 of IGST Act, whatever we are learning here as per CGST Act, mutatis mutandis will be applicable, guys. Yes, sir. Now let us see what is the provisions with respect to e-way bill or electronic way bill. Section 68 of CGST Act 2017 provides that the government may require the person in charge of conveyance, okay, in simple transporter, carrying any consignment of goods of value exceeding such amount. How much? And they didn't tell here. It is given in the rules. Okay. As may be specified, to carry with him such documents and such devices as may be prescribed. Actually speaking, guys, section 68 just gave a power. There is no content in section 68. Everything they told as may be prescribed, as may be specified. Sir, where is it prescribed or where is it specified? In the rules, guys. So the actual content is given in the rules. Okay. Electronic way bill, that is e-way bill, is a compliance mechanism wherein by way of digital interface, the person causing the movement of goods, means whoever is causing the movement of goods, normally the supplier, uploads the relevant information prior to the commencement of the movement of goods and generate e-way bill on the GST portal. Okay, so e-way bill has to be generated on the GST portal, guys. Following are the benefits of e-way bill mechanism. Previously, means under the previous indirect tax regime, we didn't have the concept of e-way bill and all, but it used to take a lot of time for the goods carriages or even for a truck or lorry to pass on the check post, guys. But now, after the introduction of e-way bill under the GST, the time is saved. So what are the benefits or advantages? Physical interface to pay way for digital interface, resulting in elimination of state boundary check post. Okay. Previously it used to be like this. In all the check post, the goods vehicle used to stand like this for hours together or sometimes even days together to just the pass through the check post and reach the delivery place. Yes. It will facilitate the faster movement of goods now because it is completely technology based. Now the proper officer, if he wants to verify the goods within the or inside the truck, then sir, should he physically verify? Need not, guys. If you just check through e-way bill number, now whenever e-way bill is generated, a unique number would be generated. Using that, the proper officer can check up full details about goods, the supplier, whom we also call it as consigner, on also consignee. Yes, sir. Then consignee means recipient normally. Yes. For e-way bill, we use the word consigner, consignee, guys. Consigner is nothing but the supplier, whereas consignee is nothing but recipient. Okay, sir. Fine. It will improve the turnaround time of trucks and help the logistics industry by average distance traveled, reducing the travel time as well as cost. So turnaround time is what is the time taken to go deliver the goods and come back by a truck. Yes. So by introduction of the e-way bill, the turnaround time has been reduced, which in turn will help us to save cost. Help us in the sense the traveling industry or logistics industries, guys. Yes, sir. So this will make them to deliver more and more goods within a particular time, guys. Instead of delivering one, maybe they can deliver two now. Yes, sir. So now we will actually get into the content of e-way bill, guys. Yes. The procedure for generation of e-way bill. E-way bill is a document introduced under the GST regime that needs to be generated before transportation or shipping of goods worth more than 50,000, whether it is within the state or outside the state. So in simple, whenever there is a movement of goods, whether within the state or even outside the state, even if it is not for a supply, if it is for a supply, we should generate e-way bill. Okay. But even if it is not for a supply, for example, goods is going for a job work, and if consignment value is more than 50,000, still e-way bill has to be generated. Still e-way bill has to be generated, guys. Okay. So because some people will believe that only if it is going outside the state, we need to generate e-way bill. No, even if it is within the state, if the consignment value is more than 50,000, we have to generate e-way bill. Okay, sir. Fine. So what is given in Rule 138, we will see. Rule 138 of CGST rules provides that every registered person who causes the movement of goods of consignment value exceeding 50,000. Okay. Sir, what is this consignment value? Very important, guys, because they may ask the questions with respect to this. Consignment value is nothing but the value of supply plus GST. Very simple. We already learned how to calculate value of supply as per section 15. No? Yes, we need to take it. But while calculating value of supply, we will not include the GST component. Anything charged under GST, we will not include. Correct? Yes. But here to calculate the consignment value, we should include the GST component, guys. Whether it is CGST, SGST, IGST, whatever it is, we need to include it. Is that clear? Yes. So if consignment value is more than 50,000, then we need to generate e-way bill. Okay. Whether it is with respect to supply or for reasons other than supply, I already mentioned, sir, even if the goods movement is going without a supply, for example, it is going, assume there is a movement of goods for job work where consignment value is more than 50,000. Should we generate e-way bill? Yes. Or else, assume I am transporting the goods from one branch to another branch, which is within the same state. That means they are not separately registered. They are not distinct person. So there is a movement of goods from one branch to another branch even without supply. In that case, should we generate e-way bill? Yes. Then, due to inward supply from unregistered person, now assume on my inward supply, sir, the supplier is not registered. So if supplier is not registered, can I generate the e-way bill as a recipient? Yes. Normally, supplier is the one who will generate e-way bill. But if by chance, if supplier is not registered, can recipient generate? Yes. There are actually three options to generate e-way bill. First is always the supplier. If supplier is not generating, then recipient. If not both, then transporter can generate. Transporter can generate, guys. Okay. Shall, before the commencement of such movement, furnish information relating to the said goods as specified in Part A of Form GST EWB01. This is the form number, guys, to generate e-way bill. So in this form, in Part A, we need to give goods details. Okay. Electronically on the common portal, that is GST portal, and a unique number will be generated on the said portal. And using that unique number, can we update the vehicle details? Yes, in part B. So once we have given the goods details in part a unique e-way bill number would be generated, guys. Using that, either the supplier or the recipient or even the transporter can update the vehicle details in part B. So that part B part we will see later. Okay, fine. So we saw here value exceeding 50,000. What value, sir? Consignment value. So what is consignment value is given in the explanation, guys. You can see here, which I have highlighted in green color. Important. Consignment value of goods is the value of supply under section 15. Okay, we already learned how to calculate value of supply and also includes, oh, value of supply will not include GST, right? Yes, but here consignment value means value of supply plus GST and also includes CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, or even CES if it is applicable. Charged, if any, and shall exclude. Okay, so simple, guys. If you want, you can just write it like this. So consignment value is equal to value of supply plus GST. Okay, but it shall exclude, what is it? Value of exempt supply of goods where the invoice is issued in respect of both exempt as well as taxable supply of goods, guys. So that 50,000 value plus GST we need to consider only for taxable supply of goods. Yes, sir. So just a minute. I will just show you few illustrations. Yes. This is on the consignment value calculation. You can just see. Assume the value of taxable goods is 40,000 and on that GST is 10%. I'm just randomly taken the rate 4,000. So what is the consignment value? 44,000. So it is less than 50,000. So is it mandatory to generate e-way bill? No. But if consignment value is less than 50,000, can we still voluntarily generate e-way bill? Yes, voluntarily you can do it, but not mandatory. But not mandatory, guys. Oh, coming to illustration 2. Value of taxable goods is 48,000. Very important. Observe GST at 10% of it, 4,800. So consignment value is 52,800, more than 50,000. So should we generate e-way bill? Yes, mandatory. Especially this kind of illustration or question they can ask, guys. So please be very careful. Where the value will be less than 50,000, but if you add GST, it will be more than 50,000. Very important. Yes, sir. Next, value of taxable goods is 30,000. On that GST is 3,000. That is 10%. Value of exempt goods. Okay, both the goods are going in the same vehicle, so they are supplied together. 20,000 value of exempt supply. Yes, sir. What is consignment value? It will not include the exempt supply of goods, guys. So consignment value is only 33,000. That is 30 plus 3. It is less than 50,000. So e-way bill is not mandate. Okay. Then the last one, value of taxable supply as per section 15 is 60,000 plus 10% GST on it, 66. And also there is a value of exempt goods supplied together with or along with the taxable supply of goods. So how much is that value? 30,000. So if you are calculating consignment value, how much it is, guys? 66,000. 66,000. Will this be included? No. As 66,000 is more than 50,000, should we generate e-way bill? Yes. We have to generate e-way bill. Hope you got it. Yes, sir. Okay. Coming back to this, there is one proviso here. Let us read it. Proviso. Provided also that where the handicraft goods or the goods made by craftsmen are transported outside the state or the union territory by a person who has been exempted from the requirement of obtaining the registration under section 23, the e-way bill shall be generated by the said person irrespective of the value of the consignment. Guys, this is a person for whom the registration is exempted as per section 23. If I am a person who is supplying notified handicraft goods or the goods which is predominantly made by hand, that is by craftsman, then even if I am supplying these goods outside the state, they told registration is not mandatory as per section 24. Where is it given this provision? In section 23. Okay, but it is subject to conditions. What are those conditions, sir? The aggregate turnover should be within 20 lakh or 10 lakh, and the person should be having his PAN, and they have to generate e-way bill for the movement of goods. And for generation of e-way bill, in this case, the consignment value doesn't matter. If you want, you can go back to the registration chapter in under section 23. This provision is there. This provision is there, guys. So you can just try to recall. I repeat, for the person who is supplying the notified handicraft goods or the goods which are predominantly made by hand, that is craftsman, even if they are supplying the goods outside the state, still registration is not mandatory as per section 24. Section 23 is telling subject to condition, for them the registration is exempted. What is it? Their aggregate turnover is within 20 lakh or 10 lakh in case of special states. They should have a PAN and they should generate e-way bill for the movement of goods irrespective of their consignment value. Whether consignment value is less than 50,000 or more than 50,000 doesn't matter. Sir, even if they are not registered under GST, still can they generate e-way bill? Yes, they have that such options now. They have such options now. Even an unregistered person under GST can generate e-way bill, guys. What is it? We will see later. We have a provision for it. Oh, done with first point. Next, second point. Where the consigner, I already told you, for e-way bill, they use the word consigner and consignee. Consigner is nothing but the supplier, whereas consignee means recipient, guys. Normally, the person who causes the movement of goods, who is that person means supplier. That is consigner. He is the one who is supposed to generate e-way bill. But if in case, if he cannot generate or if he has not generated, then it can be generated by recipient or the transporter. Got it? Yes. Okay. Where the consignor or consignee has not generated the e-way bill in form GST EWB01 and the aggregate of consignment value of goods carried in the conveyance is nothing but vehicle, guys, is more than 50,000, then the transporter shall generate the e-way bill in form GST EWB01 on the basis of invoice or bill of supply or a delivery challan, and may also generate a consolidated e-way bill in GST EWB02 on the common portal prior to the movement of goods. But this is optional. What is this consolidated? We will see later. Okay. Now, if e-way bill is not generated by either the consignor or consignee, but the consignment value is more than 50,000, then the transporter can generate e-way bill. Now, how will he has the details, sir? Guys, for the supply of goods, the invoice will be generated in 3 copies, triplicate. One is for supplier, one is for recipient, the other one is for transporter. Yes. So the transporter also will have a copy of invoice, or if it is an exempt goods bill of supply, or he can also, if it is not for a supply, then he will have a delivery challan. Yes. Either of this document he will be having. Using that, he can generate e-way bill. But transporter cannot generate e-way bill with respect to transportation of goods by railways, air or vessel. If this is the mode of transportation, then the e-way bill has to be generated by the consigner or the consignee, guys. I have given that in the next point. Third one, whatever I have highlighted here, no, that I have given in this point. where the goods are transported by railways or by air or vessel, the e-way bill shall be generated by the registered person, being the supplier, that is the consignor, or the recipient, that is the consignee, either before or after the commencement of movement. So, movement of goods. Sir, with respect to this, even after the movement starts, can we generate e-way bill? Yes. Actually, if it is transportation of goods by road, before the movement starts, you have to generate e-way bill. Before the movement of vehicle starts, movement of goods means obviously goods will move in what? Vehicle. So before the vehicle movement starts, we have to generate e-way bill. Whereas here they are telling if the transportation is through railways, air, that is flight, or vessel, that is ship, then the e-way bill has to be generated either by the supplier or recipient before or even after the commencement of movement. Okay, here that benefit is given. Fourth one. Registered person or the transporter may, at his option, generate and carry the e-way bill even if the value of consignment is less than 50,000. That is voluntary. I already mentioned it. If consignment value is less than 50,000, then it is voluntary. But if it is more than 50,000, mandatory. Oh. E-way bill is valid for the movement of goods by road only when the information in part B is furnished. Sir, in part B, guys, part A is what details? Goods details. We already discussed. Yes, sir. Now, once part A details is given, within 15 days, part B details has to be updated. Once part A details, guys, here I have mentioned part A. That is what details? Goods details. Now, within 15 days, the vehicle details has to be updated in part B. Part B is all about vehicle details along with vehicle numbers. Yes, sir. But exceptions means in the following cases, part B details is not required. When is it, sir? However, details of conveyance may not be, conveyance means again vehicle, may not be furnished in part B of the e-way bill where the goods are transported for a distance of up to 50 kilometers within the state or union territory. From where to where, sir? Guys, simple, listen here. Within 50 kilometers within the same state. Okay, na? Up to 50 within same state. Oh. From where to where, sir? From consigner place to, that is supplier's place to the transporter's place. If the distance is within 50 kilometers and within the same state, then part B details is not mandate. Okay, sir. Same way, if it is from transporter's place to recipient's place, that is consignee. If the distance is within 50 kilometers and if it is within the same state, they are telling part B is not mandate. If you want, you can give it, but not mandate. Is that clear? Sir, what if the goods are directly going from supplier's place to recipient's place? In that case, part B details is mandatory. Even if it is within 50 kilometers, even if it is within the same state, then e-way bill part B details is mandatory, guys. Hope you understood. Only if goods is going from supplier's place to transporters. Assume it is going from supplier's factory to transporters go down. Or from transporters go down, it is going to recipient's place. If it is one way, that is from suppliers to transportation. Or from transporter's place to recipient. If it is within 50 and if it is within the same state, they are telling no. Part B is not mandate. Okay. Next. This is a recent amendment, guys. Following, sixth point. Following persons required to generate the e-way bill shall submit the details electronically on the common portal in the prescribed form, and upon validation of details so furnished, a unique enrollment number shall be generated and communicated to the said person. Who is that said person means? Guys, even an unregistered person can generate e-way bill now. And when he is generating e-way bill, as he doesn't have his GST IN, sir, can he generate the e-way bill? Yes, he can generate. And for him, a unique enrollment number will be issued, guys. He can generate a unique enrollment number. So, who are those, sir? An unregistered person making interstate transport of handicapped goods exempted from obtaining compulsory registration as per section 23 and required to generate an e-way bill irrespective of the value of consignment, which we already spoke. Yes, sir. Then an unregistered person who is opting to generate e-way bill. So in simple, when a person is not registered under GST, he can still generate the e-way bill. And when he give the details, a unique enrollment number will be generated, guys. Clear? Or else, assume I am the supplier. I am not registered under GST. Instead of me generating e-way bill, can I ask recipient or transporter to generate e-way bill? Yes, we can do that way also. But there can be a rare case where all three people are not registered under GST. Supplier as well as recipient or even the transporter. In that case, Can we still generate e-way bill? Yes, guys. That is what is covered in this sixth point. Next, seventh one. Upon generation of e-way bill on the common portal, a unique e-way bill number, that is EBN, shall be made available to the supplier, the recipient, as well as transporter. Now, using that e-way bill number, can anyone update the details or track the movement of vehicle? Yes, movement of vehicle along with goods. Okay, sir. Yes. So normally what happens? No, the supplier will generate e-way bill, give the details of the goods in part A, update it, and he will share the e-way bill number with the transporter. And transporter will update the vehicle details in part B because he is a better person to know the vehicle details and all. Got it? Yes. Next, eighth one. Where the goods are transferred from one conveyance to another, that is from one vehicle to another, the consignor or the recipient or the transporter shall, before such transfer and further movement of goods, update the details of conveyance in the e-way bill on the common portal in part B of Form GST EWB 01. The user can update part B, that is vehicle details, as many times as he wants for movement of goods to destination. However, the updating should be done within the validity period. There is a validity period for a e-way bill. So can we update the vehicle details any number of times within the validity period? Yes, guys. Whenever there is a shifting of goods from one vehicle to another vehicle or from one conveyance to another conveyance, we need to immediately update the details. Okay. Where, sir? In part B of EWB 01. Yes, just a minute. Okay. You can see here, I have just given an example image. Now assume goods were going in vehicle 1. Now in between, in transit, it is shifted to vehicle 2. It is shifted to vehicle 2. So previously in part B, this vehicle numbers would have been updated. Yes, sir. When goods are getting shifted, before the movement of goods in this vehicle starts, that is vehicle 2 starts, the vehicle details has to be updated, guys. Vehicle detail has to be updated. Normally this is done by transporter because he is the person who is handling all this, no, so he will be knowing it better with respect to the vehicle details, so he will update it. Sir, is there any limit to update the vehicle details any number of times, like only maximum 2 3 and all? No, guys. So it can be done for a better transportation system. Sometimes goods will be carried in small vehicles, it will be assembled in one place, then from there it will be carried in a big truck, anything like that. Or else sometimes during the transit, if there is any breakage or the repair of a vehicle, then the goods can be shifted to another vehicle and the second vehicle will continue. Got it? Yes, sir. For any reason, the goods can be shifted from one vehicle to another vehicle, and when it is shifted, immediately the new vehicle details has to be updated before the movement of this vehicle start itself. It has to be updated in part B. Okay, sir. Next, where the goods are transferred from one conveyance to another. Okay, this is done. This is done. Oh, next. There can also be a case where one e-way bill can go through multiple modes of transportation before reaching destination. As per the mode of transportation, the e-way bill number, e-way bill can be updated with new mode of transportation by air or by water or by ship or by road or by vehicle, like that. Clear? So whenever the goods are moving in multiple modes of transportation, like by air or water or road or even railways, so as and when there is a change in the mode of transportation, we need to update the details in part B. Okay. Using the option of update vehicle number, guys. Okay. Then coming to the ninth point, where multiple consignment are intended to be transported in one conveyance, the transporter may indicate the serial number of e-way bills generated in respect of each such consignment electronically on the common portal, and a consolidated e-way bill in form GST EWB 02. E-way bill is 01. This is consolidated. Okay, may be generated by him on the said common portal prior to the movement of goods, and it is purely optional and not mandatory, guys. Okay, for example, assume a transporter is carrying all our goods, mine along with you, in one single vehicle. In single vehicle. Now, for each supplier or consignor, he would have already generated e-way bill, or we would have generated the e-way bill. Okay. Instead of carrying, assume 10, 15 e-way bill, can you consolidate all this and generate one consolidated e-way bill? Yes. Assume, I repeat, assume the transporter is carrying the goods of 10 different people in this vehicle. Okay, that means already 10 e-waybill would have been generated. Yes. So instead of carrying 10 different e-waybill, using all this, can he consolidate and generate one e-waybill? Yes, but it is optional. If he wants, he can carry all 10 separately. If not, he can generate one consolidated e-waybill, guys. Is that clear? Yes. Okay. Consolidated means in which form? EWB02. So it is easy to remember. When there are two or more e-way bill already generated for the goods which is moving in the same conveyance, then such e-way bills can be consolidated to generate one consolidated e-way bill in EWB02, guys. Okay, sir. Next, cancellation of e-way bill. Sir, once e-way bill is generated, is it like always active? Should movement happens? No. So there can be a cases where, assume now you ordered the goods with me. I generated the e-way bill, arranged for the transportation, everything. Now goods are about to leave my place, but you called and told, because sir, thank you, I don't want your goods. I got a better person to supply the goods and all. You cancel the order. I have already generated the e-way bill. So does it mean that movement has to happen? No. If there is no movement of goods, then whatever e-way bill has been generated, we can cancel it. Or else it can also happen like this. Assume you ordered for 1000 kgs of goods. So I already generated the e-way bill giving the quantity as 1000 kgs. But later tomorrow you called and told, because sir, no, I want only 800. Or else you told, because sir, I want 1500. So there is a change in quantity. In that case, I need to cancel the old e-way bill and generate a new e-way bill for a revised quantity, guys. For a revised quantity. Yes, let me read it. Where an e-way bill has been generated under this rule, but goods are either not transported or not transported as per the details furnished in the e-way bill, that is change in the quantity. The e-way bill may be cancelled electronically on the common portal within 24 hours of generation of e-way bill. But if there is already a movement of goods by conveyance, and if the proper officer has already checked it, sir, in that case, it is understood the movement, there is already a movement of goods. Can we cancel the e-way bill? No. That's not possible. Provided that an e-way bill cannot be cancelled if it has been verified in transit in accordance with the provisions of Rule 138B. By whom? By the proper officer. If proper officer has already verified it in the transit, now that means that there is already a movement of goods. Now can I cancel e-way bill? No. You can cancel the e-way bill when there is no movement of goods. You already generated the e-way bill, but later the recipient cancelled the order, or he asked to change the quantity. In that case, we can cancel the e-way bill. Further, unique e-way bill number generated is valid for a period of 15 days for updation of what? Part B details. I told you, once we generate e-way bill by giving the details of goods in Part A, we have 15 days time to update the vehicle details in Part B. Okay, so from Part A to Part B, you have 15 days time. And once Part B details is updated, the validity period of e-way bill will start. Validity period of e-way bill will not start when you give Part A details. Validity period of e-way bill will start only when you give Part B details. So it is always better to give the vehicle details in Part B before the movement of goods starts, or before the movement of vehicle starts, guys, or maybe few hours before. Got it? Yes. For example, assume the movement of vehicle will start 3 days later. So better to generate before that, on that day morning or maybe the previous night, guys. Okay. So what is the validity period of e-way bill or consolidated e-way bill? In case of dimensional cargo, up to 200 kilometer, it is 1 day. Then over and about 200 kilometer, for every another 200 kilometer, it will be one more additional day. Simple. Up to 200 kilometer, any kilometer. Assume the distance is 180 kilometers. How many days it is valid? 1 day. Then over and about 200, for every another 200, one extra day. For example, assume the total distance is 380. So 380 divided by 200 you can do. Got it? And you always round it off to next whole number. So it is 2 days. Sir, assume it is 780. 780 divided by 200 you. How much ever you get, round it off. So it is like 4 days. 4 days. Is that clear? So always round it off. Don't take any decimals and all. Round it off to next. So for example, even if it is 3.2, take 4 days. 3.1, take 4 days. Sir, 3.7, 3.9, take 4 days. Any decimal, round it off to next day, guys. Is that clear? Sir, what if it is 202 kilometers? Still you will get a benefit of 2 days only. 2 days itself. Okay, sir. Then, in case of over-dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment, in which at least one leg involves shipment by ship, means, sir, at least there is a movement of ship in that transportation. In that case, instead of 200, it is 220. Okay, that is 10 less, not 220, only 20. Yes. So up to 20 kilometer, it is 1 day. For every 20 kilometer or part thereof over and above 20 kilometer, it is one more additional day. For example, assume it is 180. Sorry, 180. You divide it by 20. You divide it by 20. Is that clear? Sir, what if it is 380? Divide it by 20. Sir, 780. Divide it by 20. Easy. Just keep doing like that. Yeah, and what is over dimensional cargo and all, you need not worry because that is not a part of GST. If it is dimensional or over dimensional, they will be giving it in the question, guys. If by chance, if question is silent, you can go with dimensional. Okay. If they are clearly special over dimensional, you can go with. Is that clear? But they will give it, guys, because obviously we cannot decide based on the length of the vehicle and all. Will we have an idea about it? No. Got it? Yes, sir. Over dimensional cargo in simple means, guys, the heavy loaded vehicles. Clear, where they will not be traveling so fast in the highways and all. You guys would have observed the heavy weight vehicles, okay, which will be going very slow because they have a speed limits and they will be carrying heavy weight, so they will not, cannot cross a certain speed limit. So that is why for them more and more time limit is given. Okay, sir. Provided further that where under the circumstances of an exceptional nature, natural calamity, law and order issue, accident of conveyance, etc., including the transshipment, the goods cannot be transported within the validity period of the e-vehicle, the transporter may extend the validity period after updating the details in part B of form GST EWB01 if required. If required. Okay. Because sometimes due to any damage or repair or the breakdown of vehicles also, we cannot deliver on time. Or even if it is like any natural calamity or strike happening, sir, there is no movement of vehicles happening. In that case, can we ask for extension? Yes. The validity of e-way bill may be extended within 8 hours from the time of its expiry. So if once the validity period has expired within 8 hours, you should ask for an extension specifying the reason. Specifying the reason, guys. Oh, sir, okay, we understood what is the validity period. When will the validity period start and when will it end? Guys, the starting period is always 12 a.m. and even the ending time is the midnight, guys. Clear? You would have generated at 6 p.m., 5 p.m., 4 p.m. or 10 a.m. in the morning, whatever time. The first day will always start from 12 a.m. 12 a.m. For example, please listen here. Please listen here. Assume we are generating on 20th e-way bill. Part B details we are updating on 20th. Whether it is at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or even 6 p.m. or 2 p.m. whatever time. Okay. The date would be locked, but the validity period will not start from 20th. The validity period will start from 21st early morning. 21st early morning, that is next day early morning, guys. So the validity period will start from 21st 12 a.m. First day will end between 21st and 22nd. Second day will end between 22nd and 23rd midnight, guys. Is that clear? So I repeat, once the e-way bill is generated by giving the part B details, immediately the validity period has to start. But we will just lock that time. Will it start immediately? No. The first day will start from 12 a.m. of the next day. That is the early morning of next day, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Explanation. Relevant date means the date on which the e-way bill has been generated and the period of validity shall be counted from the time at which the e-way bill has been generated and each day shall be counted as the period expiring at the midnight, which is 12 a.m. of the day immediately following the date of generation of e-way bill. Yes, sir. The validity of e-way bill starts when the first entry is made in part B. So actual validity will not start. Only we will lock that time. But the first day will start from when? 12 a.m. of next day. Okay. So the validity period will start actually once you have given the part B details. But will the first day itself will start from there? No, no. We will lock that time and date. The first day will start from 12 a.m. of next day, guys. That is, vehicle entry is made first time in case of road transportation or first transport document number entry in case of rail, air, ship transportation, whichever is the first entry. It may be noted that the validity is not recalculated for the subsequent entries in part B. Sir, if there is any change of vehicles or conveyance, will the validity period getting extended? No, no, no. You may change the vehicles any number of times, but the validity period remains same for all vehicles put together. For all vehicles put together. Come on, guys. Let us just recap it. Now, we have to give the goods details in part A. Once we give goods details in part A, e-way bill number will be generated. Using that, either the supplier, recipient, or the transporter can update the vehicle details in part B of EWB01 within 15 days. And once part B details is given in EWB01, the time and date will be locked. The validity period starts on? Yes, but the first day will start from 12 a.m. of next day. That is early morning of next day. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Just a minute. I have given few example in my provision book. I will just show you. Yeah. What is over-dimensional cargo also? I have just given it. Sir, are we supposed to know it? No, guys. It is given in actually Motor Vehicles Act. Over-dimensional cargo means a cargo carried as a single indivisible unit, one vehicle, and which exceeds the dimensional limits prescribed in Rule 93 of Central Motor Vehicles Rules 1989, made under the Motor Vehicles Act 1988. That's all. Okay, fine. I have given the example here. Just have a look. Suppose an e-way bill is generated at 12:04. That is early morning e-way bill is generated. Part B details is given. Okay. On 14th March. Then the first day would end on 12 midnight of 15th and 16th. First day will start between what gate, guys? 14th and 15th. End of 14th and start of 15th is there? No. That start of 15th is the start first day. Beginning of first day. Yes. Sir, when will the first day end, sir? In between 15th and 16th, guys. That is the end of 15th and the start of 16th. And second day will end when, sir? At 12 in the midnight between 16th and 17th. That is end of 16th March and the start of 17th March. Okay. Next B. Suppose an e-way bill is generated at 11:58 hours. So the first day will start in next to 2 minutes. The first day will start in next to 2 minutes, guys, on 14th March. So the first day will start between 14th and 15th. That is end of 14th and beginning of 15th. That is in simple if I have to tell in next to 2 minutes. Then the first day would end on 12 midnight between 15th and 16th. End, please be careful, not the start. Okay. The second day will end on 12 midnight between 16th and 17th March. Is that clear? Yes. And there are also cases for few goods, e-way bill need not be generated, guys. Just a minute. For few goods, e-way bill need not be generated. I have just given the list here. This is a part of my provision book. If you want, you can just pause for a minute and just go through the list. For the following goods, irrespective of the consignment value, e-way bill is not required, guys. E-way bill is not required. I will just show you the list. So in all these cases, whatever I just now showed, e-way bill is not required. Okay, sir. Fine. 12th point. The e-way bill generated under this rule shall be valid in every state and union territory. Sir, is it required to generate a separate e-way bill in each and every state? No, no, it's not required. It will be valid throughout India. Then 13. If multiple invoices are issued by the supplier to the recipient, multiple e-way bills have to be generated. That is, for each invoice, one e-way bill has to be generated irrespective of the fact whether same or different consignor or consignees are involved. For example, assume I have issued a separate 10 invoices for the recipient and all these goods are going in one vehicle. Can we generate only one e-way bill? No. For each invoice, one separate e-way bill has to be generated. And if all these goods are going in one conveyance, maybe consolidating all 10 e-way bills, we can generate or the transporter can generate one consolidated e-way bill. So first see straight away, can we generate consolidated e-way bill? No, no, no. First generate separate e-way bill for each and every invoice. Later, if all the goods are moved in the one vehicle, then the transporter has an option to generate one consolidated e-way bill. Is that clear? So in simple guys, one e-way bill for each invoice. That's all. Multiple invoices cannot be clubbed to generate one e-way bill. However, after generating all these e-way bills, one consolidated e-way bill can be prepared for the transportation purpose if the goods are going in same vehicle. Only that case. Sir, if goods are going in different vehicles, can we generate consolidated e-way bill? No, 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 not at all. Ah. Then rule 138A. Documents and devices to be carried by a person in charge of conveyance. That is the transporter. The person in charge of conveyance shall carry. Person in charge of conveyance is like transporter or even the driver. Yes. The invoice or bill of supply or delivery challan, as the case may be, means any one of this document. Along with that, and means any one of this, along with that, a copy of e-way bill in physical form or the e-way bill number in the electronic form are mapped to RFID, that is radio frequency identification device, which is embedded on the conveyance guys. So this is the device which is embedded or fixed or attached on the vehicle. If the proper officer stop this vehicle in between, that is during transit, if the proper officer just scan that, he will be able to identify what goods are there inside the vehicle, it belongs to whom, who is the consigner, who is the consignee, where is it going to, where is it coming from, all the details he can get it. Got it? Yes. But this RFID device are not there in case of movement of goods by rail, by air or vessel guys. It is only for the movement of goods by road in the vehicles. Is that clear? That is with respect to RFID. Next. Tax invoice or bill of supply to accompany transport of goods. Rule 55A. Person in charge of conveyance shall carry a copy of tax invoice or bill of supply in case of exempt goods. In a case where such person is not required to carry any e-way bill under these rules. Guys, for example, if consignment value is less than 50,000, at least one of this document he has to carry. Clear? So if consignment value is more than 50,000, then this along with this. Got it? Yes. Next, from rule 138, it gives power to the proper officer. What can he do? Can he stop the vehicle during transit? Can he verify the details? Yes. Can he detain the vehicle also? Yes. All the details are given here. Verification of documents and conveyances under rule 138B. The commissioner or the officer empowered by him in this behalf may authorize the proper officer to intercept, that is, to stop any conveyance, to verify the e-way bill in physical or electronic form for all interstate as well as intrastate movement of goods, whether it is within the state or outside the state. Next, inspection and verification of goods as per rule 138C. A summary report. Okay, once the vehicle or conveyance has been intercepted and once it has been verified, then the proper officer has to give the details of that verification. Okay, on GST portal. A summary report of every inspection of goods in transit shall be recorded online by the proper officer in part A of the prescribed form within 24 hours of the inspection, and the final report in part B of the said form shall be recorded within 3 days of such inspection. So summary report in part A within 24 hours, and the final report in part B within 3 days. And this 3 days can be further extended for another 3 days, guys, if there is any genuine reason. Okay. Next, the period of 24 hours or 3 days will be counted from when? From the midnight. From the midnight of the date on which the vehicle was intercepted. So assume today the vehicle was intercepted at 3 p.m. So this 24 hours or 3 days will count from the midnight. That is the end of today and the beginning of next day. In simple, 12 midnight. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Facility for uploading information regarding the detention of vehicle in Rule 138B. If the vehicle is detained by the proper officer for more than 30 minutes, then he need to update the details, guys. He need to update the details on the GST portal. Why so? Because this will have an impact on even the validity period. Because the transporter might not be able to deliver the goods within the validity period. So if the vehicle has been intercepted or detained by the proper officer for more than 30 minutes, you need to update the details immediately on the GST portal. So that if goods couldn't be delivered within the validity period, the transporter can take that as a reason for asking extension. Extension in validity period. Okay. Then blocking of e-way bill generation facility, Rule 138E. First, we will see when the GST IN of a person will be blocked to generate e-way bill, guys. Okay, it is given here. As per Rule 138E, no person shall be allowed to furnish the information in Part A, that is goods details, of Form GST EWB01 in respect of any outward movement of goods of a registered person. So, with respect to my sales, I cannot generate e-way bill if I am covered under any of these points. Sir, what is it? Being a person paying tax under composition scheme under section 10 has not furnished the payment statement in CMP 08 for 2 consecutive quarters. So for a composition supplier, they have to pay tax quarterly and file payment statement in CMP 08. If they have not filed it for 2 continuous quarters, then their GST IN can be blocked to generate e-way bill for their outward supply. Okay, next, being a person paying tax under the regular scheme, that is section 9, has not furnished GSTR 1 statement of outward supply for any 2 months if they are filing it monthly or if they are following quarterly, 2 continuous quarters, guys. That is QRMP. Then the last one, being a person whose registration has been suspended under the provisions of Rule 21A, when the cancellation proceedings has been initiated till it is completed, the registration would be suspended. So during suspension period, can I generate e-way bill using my GST IN for my outward supply? No, I cannot. Is that clear? So please be very careful, guys. If in any of this case, if I am covered, I cannot use my GST IN to generate e-way bill for my outward movement of goods. But can I generate e-way bill for my inward supply? Yes, I can. Or else for my outward supply, if my GST IN is blocked, can I ask my recipient to generate e-way bill? Yes. So listen here, guys. If my GST IN is blocked to generate e-way bill for any of this reason, as a supplier, I cannot generate e-way bill. But for my inward supply, can I generate e-way bill as a recipient? Yes. Or else, for my outward supply, can I ask my recipient to generate e-way bill using his GST IN? Yes, I can. I can. Okay. Blocking of e-way bill generation facility means disabling the taxpayer from generating the e-way bill. Okay. Blocking of GST IN for e-way bill generation would only be for defaulting supplier. Who? Defaulting supplier GST IN, and not for the defaulting recipient or transporter GST IN. Suspended GST IN cannot generate e-way bill as the supplier. But can they generate it as a recipient? Yes. However, the suspended GSTN can get the e-way bill generated as a recipient or even as a transporter, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. So this is all about the provisions with respect to e-way bill, guys. So come to the section list. We have covered section 68 of CGST Act along with few rules. Okay. See, in between sections, we will be covering it in the upcoming chapters with respect to returns, payment and all. Yes. So 68 I have given you, we have covered. And whatever we have covered under CGST Act, same to same is applicable even under IGST Act, guys. Got it? And here, actually, after 53, I have straight away given 68 because in between sections are not a part of your syllabus. That is why. Done, guys. Yes, students. Now we will learn the topic of payment of tax, which is nothing but payment of GST. The provisions with respect to payment of tax is covered under section 49 of CGST Act, and if GST is not paid within the due date of payment, then interest will be charged as per section 50. So mainly we will be focusing on these two sections in this chapter. Fine. And before we get into the payment, guys, whenever a person get registered under GST, that is the registered person, he will be having a profile on the GST portal. So on the GST profile, there will be three ledgers or register which will be displayed. Sir, which are those? Two e-ledgers, that is electronic ledgers, that is cash and credit ledger we call it as. The other one is register, that is liability register. Okay. Sir, what will appear on this? I will just read out this, then explain with a simple example, guys. Electronic ledger or e-ledgers are of two types. One is the one set is prepared and updated by the taxpayer himself, that is the registered person, which is electronic cash ledger as well as credit ledger. The other one is the electronic liability register, which will be automatically updated from the information given by the registered supplier in his return, especially GSTR 1. Okay, sir. So let me just try to explain the concept of this with an example, guys. Oh. Assume there is a registered person who is making an outward supply for which the value of supply as per section 15 is 50,000. On that 10% GST is applicable, so the output tax is 5,000. So totally how much will he collect from the recipient? 55,000, out of which 5,000 is output tax, guys. So this registered supplier will file his GSTR 1 giving the details of his outward supply. So on that outward supply, what is the amount of GST, people? 5,000, which we call it as output tax. So this output tax will appear in the electronic liability register, which is maintained in PMT01. PMT stands for payment. Yes, sir. And it is maintained as per rule 85, guys. Okay, sir. Then assume is inward supply. He is also taking an inward supply. The value of supply on that inward supply, which is nothing but value of purchase, is 10,000, on which GST charged by the supplier is 1,000. So for this registered person, it is called input tax. The tax which he has paid on his inward supply. So totally this person has paid how much to his suppliers for his inward supply is 11,000. Okay. Now even this supplier would have filed his GSTR 1 giving the details of his outward supply. Yes, guys, please be careful. For him, this is inward supply, whereas this is outward supply. Okay. Now for the supplier who made this supply to this guy, for him it is an outward supply. Yes, sir. So he will file GSTR 1 giving the details of his outward supply. Yes. In which he would have disclosed output tax 1,000. Whereas for this guy who is called recipient for inward supply, for him it is an input tax. So it will auto populate to him in his electronic credit ledger. Okay. How much is that? 1,000 rupees. So electronic credit ledger is maintained in PMT 02 as per rule 86, guys. Okay, sir. Next, whatever is the remaining amount this person is supposed to pay under GST, that is output tax minus the input tax credit availed, the remaining amount he has to pay through electronic cash ledger. And electronic cash ledger is maintained in PMT 05 as per rule 87. Yes, sir. And before he makes the payment through cash ledger, first he should have a balance in that. So that means he should have deposited at least 4,000 or even more than that. And then only he can make the payment through cash ledger and file the returns. That is GSTR 3B, guys. Got it? Yes. So this is the concept of the payment under GST, guys. And you will get a separate question on this, guys. Please be very careful. So preferably it is asked under the compulsory section in descriptive type. That is to calculate how much money or how much GST has to be paid through cash ledger. Yes. So you have to do three calculations there. That is output tax, then input tax, which has to be adjusted in the order, then how much GST has to be paid through cash ledger. Very important, and I will upload a separate video on the questions discussion on this topic. Very important under GST, because it has been asked under the compulsory section in the past exams, guys. So hope it will continue same thing or same trend will continue in the upcoming exams as well. Okay. Now coming back to the provisions, yes, sir. So actually in the law, they have given the point wise under each ledger or register what would be debited or credited. But I will try to explain it in the ledger format, guys, so that you will understand it in a better way. Yes, sir. First, electronic liability register, which will be maintained in form GST PMT 01. Anything a person is liable to pay under GST will be debited here, guys. Anything in the sense output tax, interest, late fee, penalty, any amount is liable to pay under GST. Okay. Normally, this will be captured through the GSTR1 or the returns filed by the registered supplier or registered person. Okay, sir. Now, how will he pay this? He has two options. Assume the liability under GST is 1 lakh rupees. Yes. First, we will check whether there is any balance in the electronic credit ledger. If yes, that credit ledger balance can be used to pay output tax. Use that first. Remaining, if any, will be paid through cash ledger. Assume there is a credit ledger balance of 40,000. So we will use that first. Obviously, first priority will be that one 40,000. Remaining 60,000 we will pay through cash ledger, guys. And whenever credit ledger balance is used, immediately it will be debited here 40,000. Yes, and it will be credited. Opposite side. I repeat, assume there is a liability of 1 lakh rupees for a registered person under GST. Now he has a balance of 40,000 in the electronic credit ledger, which he has paid on his inward supply, which is nothing but input tax. First, he will use that 40,000. Yes. When he is using the credit, it will be debited in the electronic credit ledger and it will be credited in the electronic liability register, guys. Okay. Remaining amount, if any, has to be paid through electronic cash ledger. And when he is paying 60,000 through electronic cash ledger should have so much of balance before making such payment. Yes, sir. So let me explain. Listen here. Whatever the person is liable to pay under GST, first it would be debited to the electronic liability register. Okay, sir. Then how will he pay it will be shown on the credit side. First choice is always from electronic credit ledger. So whatever credit balance is there for the registered person under GST with respect to his inward supply will appear on the credit side of the electronic credit ledger. Yes, sir. When he is utilizing it, it would be debited here. And it would be debited in electronic credit ledger. Same amount will be credited here. Got it? Remaining amount, if any, will be paid through cash ledger. And before we make the payment through cash ledger, first there should be a balance. I should have deposited the money into the cash ledger. Only then, when I make the payment, it would be debited here. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine. Coming back to this. So I have explained electronic liability register. Okay. Next, coming to credit ledger. Whatever balance a person is having in his electronic credit ledger, which is nothing but the tax paid on his inward supply, will be appearing on the credit side. When he utilizes it, it will be debited here. And sir, how can he utilize? For what he can utilize? I have given here. Please pay attention now. The amount which is available in the electronic credit ledger can be used only to pay output tax. Sir, what is output tax? The tax payable on outward supply. Now on my inward supply, if I'm supposed to pay tax on the RCM basis, that is input tax, can I use the credit ledger balance? No, I cannot use it. First, I have to pay it through cash ledger, then I will get it as a credit. Please be careful. This adjustment will be there even in the questions. I repeat, if on my inward supply, if I am supposed to pay tax as a recipient under RCM, can I use my credit ledger balance? No. I have to pay that amount through cash ledger, and once I pay, I will get it as a credit. So while you are solving the questions also, please be careful. In the total ITC available also, you will include this. But while calculating how much tax has to be paid through cash ledger, for whatever output tax you are supposed to pay through cash ledger, you should also add this. That is the tax payable on inward supply under RCM. That will give you the total GST to be paid through cash ledger. Got it? Simple format, guys. First, you take output tax to be paid on outward supply. From that, you reduce total ITC available. And total ITC available means, sir, whatever tax I have paid on my inward supply, for which I am eligible to claim credit, including the tax paid under RCM. You will include it. Okay, sir. So remaining you will get the output tax to be paid through cash ledger. For that, we should again add the amount of input tax which I am supposed to pay under RCM. Only add that. Okay, sir. Then that will give you the total GST to be paid through cash ledger. Hope you understood. And as I already told you, guys, I have discussed each and every questions on this with from past exams or RTP and or even from ICI material. I would be uploading a separate video on it. Once you are thorough with all the provisions, including this chapter, go and watch that video. That video will be uploaded after all 15 chapters revision videos are available, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Fine. Okay, sir. Then the input tax credit credited to electronic credit ledger cannot be used for making the payment of tax under the RCM, that is on inward supply, or even to pay interest, late fee or penalty. I cannot use my credit ledger balance. That means even the interest, late fee and penalty has to be paid through cash ledger. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine. So here I have told you whatever credit we utilize will be debited here, and the same amount would be credited here. Sir, how can I utilize the credit, in what order? Guys, we already discussed this in the input tax credit chapter, but let us try to recall it again. So pay attention. So whatever credit is lying in the electronic credit ledger, in what order can we utilize? First, we should always utilize IGST credit. Or so IGST credit will be first utilized against IGST liability. If still we have IGST credit, then we can use it against CGST and SGST liability in any order, in any proportion, however we want. And this is one of the key important step, guys. This has to be used in the most beneficial way to the registered person. Means you should use this step in such a way that whatever amount we are paying through electronic cash ledger, that should be minimum. It should be minimum. Okay. So once we have used the IGST credit fully, only then we can proceed further to utilize CGST and SGST credit. Okay, sir. So next, CGST credit will be used first against CGST liability. If still we have any amount of CGST credit, it will be used against IGST liability. Okay, sir. Then the last one is SGST or UTGST. Any one credit we will have. Because guys, the payment of GST, filing of returns, utilization of credit, everything is registration wise. So for a particular registration, you will either have SGST or UTGST, not both. Not both. Okay, sir. So if I have a SGST credit, first I will adjust it against SGST liability. If I still have a balance, I can adjust it against IGST. IGST liability. Yes, sir. CGST credit cannot be utilized against SGST liability. At the same time, we cannot utilize SGST credit against CGST liability, guys. Cross utilization between state and central is not allowed. Is that clear? Yes. So this is how we will adjust the credit, people. Okay. Next, if in case, sir, whatever balance I had in my credit ledger, I cannot utilize it fully because my output tax was less. So what do? We normally carry forward it to the next. We carry forward it to the next month. For example, assume I had a credit of 40,000. I utilized only 30,000 in the current period. Remaining 10 will be a closing balance. So for the next month or next tax period, that will be opening balance. By balance brought down. Yes. This is what we normally do. But in two scenarios, we can claim the refund of unutilized input tax credit balance, guys. That is, when the outward supply is zero rated supply, that is nothing but exports. On inward supply, we can claim credit. Yes. Sir, to utilize the credit, we don't have output tax. In that case, what do? We can claim the refund of unutilized ITC. The second one is inverted duty structure, guys. That is, the tax rate on inward supply is more than the tax rate on outward supply. In such case, whatever input tax amount we will have will be more than the output tax. Even if I am carry forwarding it to the next period or next tax period, it will be keep on happening like that only in every tax period. So in such case, can I claim a refund of unutilized ITC? Yes. So when I make an application for the refund of unutilized ITC, the amount will be automatically debited here, assuming it will be processed. And if amount is processed, it will come and sit in the electronic cash ledger. Electronic cash ledger, not to my bank account directly, it will be credited here. Okay, if it is processed, well and good. If by chance if it is rejected, then the amount would be credited back here. As soon as I make an application for refund of unutilized ITC, it would be debited here, assuming it will be processed. And if it is processed, no more entry. Sir, what if by chance if it is rejected? Then it will be credited back here. And here also, it will be debited. If it is rejected only. If it is rejected only. If it is processed, then whatever entries are already passed here, no? Here it is debit and here it is credit. That will hold good. That will hold good, guys. Got it? Yes. Fine. Now coming to electronic cash ledger. This is similar to our bank account. Guys, in order to make any payment from our bank account, first we should have a balance in our bank account. Yes, sir. Only then we can make any payments or we can use it. Yes, sir. Same way, electronic cash ledger is like maintaining the balance with the GST department to pay anything under GST. So whatever balance is there in electronic cash ledger, we can use it to pay anything under GST and it will be maintained in form GST PMT 05, guys. Liability register is in PMT 01, credit ledger is in 02, whereas cash ledger in 05. Sir, what about PMT 03 and 04? We will talk about it. Oh, fine. So before making any payment, we should ensure that we have a balance in electronic cash ledger for which we need to deposit the amount. So how can I deposit the amount into my electronic cash ledger, sir? Guys, we need to generate a challan in PMT 06 telling how much amount we are willing to deposit and under which major rate, under which minor rate, how much amount. Clear? So whenever we are generating the challan in PMT 06, we need to mention, sir, how much money we are depositing under each major rate. So totally there are 4 major rate, that is IGST, CGST, SGST or UTGST, not both, any one. The last one is cess. Okay, sir. And under each major rate, we will have 5 minor rates, guys. So when I am depositing, assume I am depositing 1 lakh under IGST, I need to tell how much is under tax minor rate, how much is for interest, how much is for penalty, how much is for fees. Each amount I need to mention. Is that clear? Yes, sir. And how can I deposit the amount into the electronic cash ledger mills I have given here? Money can be deposited in the cash ledger by different modes, namely internet banking, credit card, debit card through authorized banks, then UPI or IMPS from any bank, or RTGS or NEFT, and also all these are through internet, guys. Yes, sir. The last one, over the counter payment in branches of bank, that is by standing in the queue, you have to go and deposit in the bank manually. Okay, bank counter. But how much maximum, sir? 10,000 per challan per tax period. Per tax period, maximum you can deposit 10,000 in the counter. Rest all you have to deposit through online mode, guys. Yes, sir. But if it is a deposit by government department or a proper officer in the case of recovery and all, can they deposit more than 10,000 also over the counter? Yes. That are like an exceptions. Is that clear? Yes. But if a registered person wants to deposit more than 10,000 per tax period over the counter, that is not possible. Or fine. So we will deposit the amount into electronic cash ledger and even the TDS and TCS credit will appear here, guys. So the TDS and TCS concept we will be learning in the next chapter, but I will just tell you, assume guys, on my money, any person has deducted the TDS and he has remitted to the government and that amount will reflect to me here. Same way, assume I am the supplier. So e-commerce operator has collected TCS from me. Before making the payment to me, he has collected the TCS and he has deposited it to the government within 10th of next month. That amount will reflect to me here. And I can use it as if I have deposited that amount to pay anything under GST. Okay. Fine. So we have a balance here in electronic cash ledger, which we can use it to pay anything under GST. Anything means it can be output tax, interest, late fee, penalty, and even if it is an input tax, that is on inward supply. If I am supposed to pay tax under RCM, Can I use electronic cash ledger balance to pay it? Yes. Yes. So if I have to show you, whatever we will credit it here, no, same amount would be debited here, guys. Same to same, but on the opposite sides. That's all. Okay, sir. Fine. And with respect to this, I already spoke. That is, sir, if I have an unutilized balance of ITC with respect to my zero rated outward supply or inverted duty structure, I will claim a refund of it. And if refund is processed, it will be credited to cash ledger. If in case if it is rejected, it will be debited back. Okay, sir. Now, sir, I had deposited excess amount into the cash ledger, for example, 10 lakh. But as of now, I have used only 6 lakh. What do I do with remaining 4 lakh? You can carry forward and use it in the next tax period. If not, can I claim the refund of it? Yes. You can claim the refund of it. Yes. So when you apply for the refund of unutilized balance in electronic cash ledger, it would be debited here and it would be processed and amount will directly be credited to your bank account. Sir, what if in case if it is rejected? Normally it will not be rejected because it is my own money, or in my example, your own money, you are withdrawing it. So in that case, it will not be rejected. But due to some technical problem or anything, assume you are given a wrong information. In that case, if it is rejected, it will credited back here. It will be credited back here, guys. Got it? Yes. The electronic cash ledger contains a summary of all the deposits and payments made by a taxpayer. Yes. And the amount payable on reverse charge basis, that is on inward supply, or the amount payable under section 10. Guys, for the composition supplier, there is no credit. Whatever is his output tax, he has to pay out of his own pocket. Means entire output tax has to be paid through electronic cash ledger by the composition supplier. Got it? Yes. And any amount payable towards interest, penalty, or late fee shall be paid by debiting the electronic cash ledger. So simple, sir. If on my inward supply, if RCM is applicable, as the recipient, I am paying tax, that is called input tax. I have to pay through cash ledger. Yes. Then if I am a composition supplier, whatever is my output tax at composition rate, I have to pay through cash ledger. Yes. Then if I am liable to pay any interest, IPL, that is interest, penalty, or late fee, then we have to pay it through cash ledger, guys. Is that clear? Because, sir, only credit ledger balance can be used to pay what? Output tax. And output tax under which section? Section 9. If you are under a composition scheme, then you cannot even utilize your credit. You are not eligible to utilize input tax credit, or you are not eligible to claim input tax credit. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine, we are done with this. Next, sir, in what order the payment has to be made? Guys, GST is self-assessment based. So first you will calculate what is the amount of tax to be paid. So you will pay for the current period. But if any amount is pending for the previous tax period, first you have to pay that. If at all, if it is pending, then you can pay for current tax period. If you don't do this, when you are liable to pay GST, but you didn't pay it by yourself, that is, you didn't calculate and pay it, in that case, the proper officer can recover from you as per section 73, 74 or 74A, guys. These are called recovery sections. But this is like a last option. First option is always given to the registered person for himself to calculate on self-assessment and pay it within the due date. If it is not paid within the due date and they will send a notice, you don't respond or you respond but they are not satisfied, then they can initiate an action against the registered person as per section 73 or 74 or 74A. But don't worry, these three sections are not a part of your intermediate syllabus, guys. Got it? Yes. Fine. So this part I already told you. Whenever a person is supposed to deposit the amount into the electronic cash ledger, he need to generate a challan in PMT06 and he should specify how much he wants to deposit under which major head and under that major head for which minor head how much. Got it? Yes. Sir, now I have some balance in particular major head or under any minor head. Can I use it to pay any other amount? For example, the amount in tax, can I use to pay penalty? Or the amount in penalty, can I use it to pay tax? No. Same way, sir, the amount under the major head IGST, can I use it to pay SGST or CGST? No, you cannot. First, you have to transfer the balance. So that means using PMT 09, GST PMT 09. The amount can be transferred from one major rate to another major rate or from one minor rate to another minor rate within the same registration. Assume I am a registered person in Karnataka. I have excess balance in CGST. Can I transfer this to IGST? Yes. Or else assume under CGST I have the balance, excess balance in tax. Can I transfer it to interest or penalty? Yes, guys. So within the same registration, I can transfer the balance using GST PMT09 from any minor rate to another minor rate or from one major rate to another major rate. I have that freedom. Is that clear? Yes. Sir, can it be transferred between distinct person? For example, assume I have taken two registration. One is in Karnataka, the other one is in Tamil Nadu. Now I have some unutilized balance in my cash ledger under IGST. Can I transfer it to my the Tamil Nadu registration? Yes, guys. If it is IGST or CGST balance, I can transfer it. But SGST, I cannot because it will be two states involved. So unnecessarily it will lead to conflict. Only the CGST or IGST balance can be transferred. But when I am transferring the balance from my electronic cash ledger in Karnataka, I should make sure that I don't have any liability pending in Karnataka. Sir, I have a lot of liabilities pending under GST in Karnataka. Even though my liabilities are pending, can I transfer the balance to Tamil Nadu? No, no, that is not possible. That's not possible. Is that clear? And when the amount is transferred from one account to another account, that is one major rate to another minor rate, sorry, one major rate to another major rate, or from one minor rate to another minor rate, then automatically the balances would be transferred, guys. Even if it is transferred between the distinct person, then, for example, assume we have transferred the balance from Karnataka registration to Tamil Nadu. So in Karnataka, in electronic cash ledger, the amount would be debited as if it is utilized or as if it is refunded back. Okay. Whereas in electronic cash ledger of Tamil Nadu, the amount would be credited. Amount would be credited. I repeat, when we have transferred the balance, assume from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, in the electronic cash ledger of Karnataka, the amount would be debited. At the same time, in the electronic cash ledger of Tamil Nadu, the amount would be credited, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Fine. So if it is within the same registration, you can transfer it from any minor head to another minor head or any major head to another major head. But if it is between distinct person, so please be careful. If it is between distinct person means where the registration is taken separately, only IGST or CGST can be transferred and not SGST or UTGST, guys. Got it? Yes. When I have applied for the transfer of fund from one major rate to another one major rate to another major rate, or from one minor rate to another minor rate, it is also government responsibility to transfer the balances between them, guys, from one respective account to another respective account. Here also, as per section 53, assume guys, I have used IGST credit to pay CGST liability. In that case, whatever is the amount of IGST credit I have used to pay CGST liability, an equivalent amount will be transferred from IGST account to CGST account. By whom? By central government. Even though it is managed by the same government, still they will transfer the balance from one account to another account. Yes, sir, for proper accounting. And this is the responsibility of the government as per section 53. Yes. Same way, for example, now if I have used IGST credit to pay SGST, same way, central government will transfer the balance from IGST account to the respective SGST account of the state. Okay. Sir, what if CGST credit is used to pay IGST liability? Same story, guys. An amount equivalent to the credit utilized will be transferred from CGST account to the IGST account. Got it? Yes. And the last one also, same way. That is, sir, what if SGST credit is used to pay IGST liability? An equivalent amount will be transferred from the respective state government SGST account to the IGST account, guys. Yes, sir. Fine. We'll continue. So we are done with all this. Next, section 50, which talks about interest on delayed payment of GST. Guys, normally the due date to pay GST is 20th of next month for a registered person under section 9. Yes, sir. If he doesn't pay it, then from 21st interest will start. You have to pay it, but along with the interest. At what rate, sir? 18% per annum. Let us see. 50 subsection 1. Every person who is liable to pay tax fails to pay tax or any part thereof to the government within the period prescribed. That is, there are different due dates, but for the person who is under section 9, the due date to pay GST is 20th of next month, which is nothing but the due date to file GST or 3B itself is the due date to pay GST, guys. Okay. Shall pay interest at 18% per annum for the period for which the tax or any part thereof remains unpaid. Okay, that is from 21st of next month till the day you paid. Interest will be calculated at 18% per annum. Okay. There is a proviso under subsection 1, provided that interest in cases where the tax return under section 39, that is GSTR 3B, has been furnished after the due date. That is, there is a delay in filing GSTR 3B. Oh. But furnished before the commencement of the recovery proceedings as per section 73, 74 or 74A shall be levied on net cash liability. That is the portion of GST to be paid through electronic cash ledger. Okay, I will explain this with an example. So just pay attention here. Yeah. Assume guys, for the month of Jan 2026, my output tax liability is 2 lakh and I have a credit ledger balance of 80,000. I have a credit ledger balance of 80,000. So how much has to be paid through electronic cash ledger, which we call it as net tax liability, is 1,20,000. Yes. Now, check whether returns is filed within the due date or not. If return is not filed within the due date, means there is a delay in payment of tax due to delay in filing the returns. In that case, interest will be charged on the net tax liability. That is the amount to be paid through cash ledger. On 1,20,000, interest would be levied, guys, at 18% per annum. Okay. Sir, what if return is already filed, but there is a short payment of tax? For example, I already paid 5 lakh, but still there is a short payment of 2 lakh output tax. So in that case, check how much ITC is there. Okay. How much amount has to be paid through cash ledger? 1,20,000. But still, interest will be calculated on gross tax liability. Gross tax liability. There is a delay in payment of tax or there is a short payment of tax, but return is already filed. Return is already filed. So in that case, interest would be levied on the entire gross tax liability, that is 2 lakh, guys. Hope you understood. Hope it is clear for you. Got it? Got it? Let me repeat. Listen. If there is a delay in payment of GST due to delay in filing the returns, means return also is not yet filed, that is in GSTR 3B, then in such case, interest would be levied on net tax liability, that is the amount to be paid through cash ledger, 1,20,000. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Next, sir, there is a delay in payment of tax or there is a short payment of tax, but return is already filed, sir. GSTR 3B for the respective month is already filed, sir. Okay, in that case, interest would be levied on 2 lakh, guys. That is gross tax liability. Got it? For January, what is the due date to file? GSTR 3B on or before 20th February. Got it? If it is already filed, then we will follow this. No, sir, it is not yet filed. Then the interest would be on net tax liability, guys. Got it? Yes. Next, subsection 2. The interest shall be calculated from the date succeeding the day on which such tax was due to be paid. Okay. That is normally the due date, assume if nothing is mentioned, consider it as 20th of next month as the due date for payment. So interest will start from 21st, guys. Okay. Subsection 3. A taxable person who makes an undue or excess claim of input tax credit or undue or excess reduction in output tax liability shall pay interest at the rate not exceeding 24% per annum, means maximum 24%. On such undue or excess claim or on such undue or excess reduction of liability. Yes. But government has notified 18% per annum, guys. So what is the actual rate means? It is not 24%, it is 18%. So if there is a non-payment of GST or short payment of the GST, then interest is at 18% as per subsection 1. Whereas if there is undue or excess claim of input tax credit, or else you have claimed credit for which you are not at all eligible, or you have not satisfied the condition, or the credit is blocked as per section 17, still you have claimed the credit, then on such excess credit claimed or whatever credit you have claimed for which you are not eligible, the interest would be at 18% per annum from the date you have utilized it till the day you actually paid to the government along with the interest. Okay, sir. Fine. But there is a clarification telling, assume I have wrongly utilized IGST credit of 1,50,000, but I had a balance of IGST credit 50,000 and CGST and SGST credit together 1,20,000 in my credit ledger. So in aggregate, I have a balance of how much? 1,70,000. So can I use this to pay IGST liability? Yes, sir. So in that case, they are telling, if the aggregate amount of credit lying in the electronic credit ledger, if it is more than or equal to the IGST credit which is wrongly utilized, then no interest on it, because I had enough credit in my electronic credit ledger, guys. Is that clear? So in that case, should we consider only IGST credit or even CGST and SGST credit? We should consider the aggregate. Okay, sir. Next, IGST credit wrongly availed, assume is 1,50,000, but there is no IGST credit in my electronic credit ledger, but I have CGST and SGST credit 1 lakh. So interest would be levied on how much amount, guys? 50,000. So in aggregate of both of this, I have only 1 lakh credit, but I have wrongly utilized 1,50,000. So excess over and above what I have in my electronic credit ledger, how much I have utilized? 150 minus 1 lakh. So interest would be charged on 50,000, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. And also there is one more clarification telling, if I have a credit of compensation cess, assume I have paid a compensation cess on my inward supply, that credit can be utilized only towards payment of compensation cess. So cess credit can be used only to pay cess. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine. We'll move forward. So I have just given the summary of various forms here. GST PMT01, that is maintenance of electronic liability register, read with rule 85, and PMT02 is for maintaining credit ledger as per rule 86. Then PMT03, guys, whenever we have applied for any refund, that is of unutilized ITC, then if it is rejected, the rejection order will be passed in PMT03 by the proper officer. Got it? Yes. And whenever registered person notices any discrepancy in his ledgers, he need to immediately intimate it to the proper officer or the department in PMT04. This is to communicate any discrepancy or any differences which he noticed in the ledgers. Okay. Then GST PMT5 is to maintain cash ledger as per rule 87. Then PMT06 is to generate the challan in order to deposit the amount into the electronic cash ledger. And there is one more form which is important, that is PMT09, to transfer the amount from one major head to another major head or from one minor head to another minor head, guys. So if you try to recall in this example also I had given in the order, easy to remember the form numbers, guys. First, our liability will appear where? In liability register. So it is in PMT01. Then against my output tax, I can adjust what? Input tax credit. That will be maintained in what? PMT02. And what will come in the last? That is the amount which we need to pay through cash ledger, which will be maintained in PMT05, not 3, PMT05. 3 is for rejection order and 4 is for discrepancy communication. Yes. Whereas 5 is cash ledger. Got it? Yes, sir. So this is all about the topic of payment. Now come back to the revision book and come to the section list. We'll just mark it quickly. Under CGST Act, guys. So which all sections we have covered here? 49, 50. Then TDS, TCS, we will learn it in next chapter. That is chapter 14. Then even this too. Transfer of funds between the governments. Okay, this is the actually not the responsibility of the registered person. It is the responsibility of the government. They will take care of it. Got it? Yes, guys. Done with payment topic. Yes, students. Now we will learn the topic of TDS and TCS under GST. Don't worry, these topics are not so lengthy as in income tax. It is just covered in one section each. First, we will learn TDS and then we will take up TCS, guys. So the concept of TDS is given in section 51 of CGST Act. So whenever supplier has supplied any taxable goods or services to the recipient And if recipient is paying more than 2,50,000 to the supplier, in such case, if the recipient is, I have given, recipient need not deduct TDS always. Only if the following people are the recipients, they need to deduct TDS. Who are those? I have just given the list in simple. The government department, establishment or agencies or a local authority or an authority or a board or a society or a public sector undertaking or a metal scrap supplier with respect to B2B supply. That is, supplier is also registered, recipient is also registered. So if the following people are the recipients who is making the payment of more than 2,50,000 for the taxable supply of goods or services, they have to deduct TDS at the rate of 1% each. That is, if it is intrastate supply, 1% CGST, 1% SGST. Sir, what if it is interstate supply? Then TDS at 2%, which is nothing but IGST, guys. Okay. And whatever TDS the deductor, who is nothing but the recipient, is deducting, he has to remit it to the government within 10th of next month and file GSTR 7. So whatever TDS has been deducted, it has to be remitted to the government within 10th of next month, and GSTR 7, that is TDS returns, has to be filed by whom? By the deductor. By the deductor. So under TDS concept, we call recipient as deductor and the supplier as deductee, guys. And once recipient deposit the amount and file GSTR 7, the credit of TDS will reflect in the electronic cash ledger of the supplier on the credit side. So I have already explained the electronic cash ledger in the previous chapter, no? Yes. So you can see, for the supplier from whom the TDS has been deducted and remitted to the government, it will reflect here. It will reflect here. For whom? For the supplier, guys. Yes, sir. Okay, going back to this. And also the deductor has to issue a certificate to the supplier in GSTR 7A. In GSTR 7A, guys, as a proof. Whatever TDS he has deducted, what is the amount of it, on what day did he deduct, and on what day it is remitted, he has to give the certificate to the supplier in GSTR 7A. Got it? Yes, sir. So let us go and learn in detail now. Section 51 of CGST Act states that the following people, if the following people are the recipients, only they will deduct the TDS. If you or me, are the recipients who are making the payments, even if we are paying more than 2,50,000, no need to deduct TDS, guys. So only if recipient is covered in any of this point, they will deduct TDS. So who are those? One by one. A department or establishment of central government or a state government or a local authority or a governmental agencies or an authority or a board or any other body set up by an act of parliament or a state legislature or established by any government with 51% or more participation by way of equity or control to carry out any function, means majority is held by the government, guys. Okay. Then society established by the central government or the state government or a local authority under the Societies Registration Act 1860 or a public sector undertaking, in short PSU. Then the last one, any registered person receiving supplies of metal scrap from other registered persons. So please be careful. It is only B2B supplies which is covered here. B2B. Guys, when unregistered supplier supply the metal scrap to the recipient is supposed to pay tax under RCM. So for him, it is mandatory to get registered. Yes. But once aggregate turnover of the supplier crosses the threshold limit of 20 lakh or 10 lakh, the supplier has to take registration and start paying tax under FCM. So this TDS concept is applicable only when this supply is taxable under FCM, because the supplier is also registered. Supplier is also registered. This registration concept I had already explained you in registration chapter. I repeat this point. Listen here. When an unregistered supplier supply metal scrap to a recipient, it is taxable under RCM, that is reverse charge mechanism. That means the recipient has to take registration and pay tax under RCM. Yes, sir. But once the aggregate turnover of the supplier crosses the threshold limit of 20 lakh or in case of special states 10 lakh, the supplier has to take registration and start paying tax under FCM. And once suppliers start paying the tax under FCM, then the RCM will stop. Got it? Yes. So when both supplier and recipient is registered, that is when it is covered here, guys. That is when it is covered. In simple, only when the supply of metal scrap is taxable under FCM, the TDS would be applicable. The TDS would be applicable, guys. Okay, sir. So we call them as what? Under TDS concept, deductor. To deduct at the rate of 1% CGST from the payment made or credited to the supplier, the deductee. So the supplier is called as deductee here. Of taxable goods or services. Sir, what if it is exempt goods or services? No need to deduct TDS. They have clearly used the word taxable. Okay. Where the total value of such supply under a contract exceeds 2,50,000. And here value includes what? GST also? No. It is nothing but value of supply. So here value means it is value of supply under section 15, guys, which will not include GST component. Please be careful. We already learned consignment value for e-way bill concept. But here we will not take that value. Consignment value means value of supply plus GST. That is to decide whether we should generate e-way bill or not. But to decide whether we should deduct TDS or not, we should consider only value component and not GST component. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, fine. So, but in the following cases, TDS is not applicable. And please be careful, guys. Only if the taxable value of goods or services, if it is more than 2,50,000, TDS. Sir, what if it is less than 2,50,000? No TDS. Is that clear? Yes, all the conditions has to be satisfied. The recipient has to be the following people. Okay. And the value of taxable supply is more than 2,50,000. Only then TDS would be deducted. Okay. But still, there are few exceptions where TDS is not applicable. When is it so? Government has exempted the application of TDS provision to supply of goods or services or both in the following cases. First one, from a public sector undertaking to another public sector undertaking, whether or not it is a distinct person. So if supplier as well as recipient both are the PSUs, whether it is same PSU or different PSUs, no TDS, guys. So PSU to PSU, no TDS. Okay, next. When the supply of goods and or services takes place between one person to another person specified under section 51, except the person referred to in point G. So if there is any supply between them, whoever is covered from A to F, no TDS. For example, government department to local authority, or local authority to government agency, or to PSU, okay, or any supply between them, whoever is covered in this. The supplier as well as recipient is covered in this list, sir. Then no TDS. But the last case, sir, if by chance if this person is a supplier or recipient, okay, especially if they're recipient, should they deduct TDS? Yes. For example, assume supplier is any one of them, but recipient is this one. Should TDS be deducted? Yes. TDS has to be deducted. Is that clear? Yes. Chalo. Sir, what if supplier is this person, whereas recipient is assume B, local authority? Should local authority deduct TDS? Yes, guys. So this exception is not applicable for a person covered in point G. Point G is nothing but this one. That is metal scrap supplier, guys. No TDS. Okay, sorry. For a person who is covered in G, there is no exception. Means is TDS applicable? Yes, if value of taxable supply of goods or services is more than 2,50,000. Next, a proviso. Provided that no deduction shall be made if the location of supplier and place of supply is in the state or union territory which is a different from the state or union territory of registration of recipient. Guys, if location of supplier and place of supply is in one state, we call it as intrastate supply. That means CGST and SGST is applicable. Yes. But recipient is from another state, sir. Recipient is from another state. So if he is deducting TDS, especially the SGST credit, it would be difficult to pass on as two different states would be involved. So that is why they clearly told if location of supplier and place of supply assume is in Karnataka, whereas location of recipient is in Kerala, no need to deduct TDS. Irrespective of the value, no need to deduct TDS because it would be difficult to pass on the SGST credit, guys. Okay, sir. Next, whatever amount has been deducted has to be deposited with the government within 10th of next month. Okay. Then the certificate of tax deduction at source shall be issued in form GSTR 7A by the deductor to whom? To the deductee. Okay, sir. Next, the deductee, that is the supplier, shall claim the credit in his electronic cash ledger of the tax deducted and reflected in the return of the deductor furnished in form GSTR 7 within 10th of next month. And it has to be filed for every month. So whatever TDS has been deducted by the deductor, he will remit it to the government within 10th of next month, and he will also file GST return, that is TDS returns in GSTR 7. GSTR 7. Automatically the credit of TDS will reflect to the deductee in his electronic cash ledger. And this GSTR 7 has to be filed by the deductor every month, guys. Sir, for a particular month, TDS is not deducted. Still, they have to file GSTR 7, huh? Yes. At least nil returns has to be filed. If at all, if TDS is not deducted for any particular month, still they have to file nil GSTR 7, guys. It has to be filed for every month. Okay, sir. So this is all about the concept of TDS, but there is a connection to RCM, guys. I will just connect it. See, if the following three people, only the following three people, let me mark in different color, blue. Yeah. If the following three people are registered under GST only to deduct TDS, and if they receive any GTA service, that is the transportation of goods by road through GTA or security services, in that case, RCM will not be applicable, guys. RCM will not be applicable. I will just show you. We already learned this in RCM under section 9. I will just show you just a minute. So you can also come back to RCM list. Yes. So in RCM list, first one is GTA services. Correct? Yes. So in that case, recipient includes any person registered under GST. Yes. But I have given other than TDS deductor. Yes, sir. So if it is TDS deductor, whomever three people we covered, no, I just now marked in blue color and showed. If the following people are the recipient who has received the GTS service and they are not providing any taxable outward supply, they are registered under GST only to deduct TDS. Then in such case, the GTS service is exempt, guys, covered in exemption list. It is covered in exemption list. That is why I have given in green color here. Hope you remember this. Okay, same way. If it is security services, just a minute. Yeah, 14th. Security services. So if security services is provided by any person other than body corporate to a registered person, means recipient is registered, means RCM is applicable, but other than TDS deductor and composition supplier. That is, if recipient is registered under GST only to deduct TDS, or if they are registered under section 10, then no RCM, guys. No RCM. Is that clear? Sir, in that case, exemption is provided. No, no. Just to told, no RCM. That means, can it be taxable under FCM? Yes. Okay. So for both these services, that is GTA as well as security services, guys, if a person is registered under GST, that is the recipient is registered under GST only to deduct TDS under section 51, then no RCM. No RCM. Okay. Just a minute. Yes. And please be careful. There, while giving exemption from RCM, they didn't cover everyone. They covered only the first three people. Only the first three people. Hope you guys got it. Yes, now we will learn the concept of TCS. TCS means not Tata Consultancy Services. It is tax collected at source. And the provisions with respect to TCS is given in section 52 of CGST Act. Before we learn the concept of TCS, I will just explain how this e-commerce operator will operate, guys. They just display the goods or services to be supplied by the supplier on their platform. And whenever recipient, I've just given you, yes. And whenever the recipient wants any goods or services, they will place an order. And once the e-commerce operator receives the order, they will pass on the information to the supplier. And accordingly, the supplier will supply the goods or services for which the recipient has placed the order. Okay. And the recipient will make the payment to e-commerce operator, and e-commerce operator will give it to the actual supplier. But before e-commerce operator gives the money to the actual supplier, they would be deducting their commission or platform fees. They are also supposed to collect TCS as per section 52. So commission or platform fee, whatever they collect or deduct, that is for themselves. But on behalf of the government, they are also telling e-commerce operator, you better know the suppliers. So you help us in collecting the TCS. So the e-commerce operator has to collect the TCS from the amount which is supposed to make to the supplier and remit it to the government within 10th of next month. Why they brought this concept is very simple, guys. It is difficult for the government to trace these people who is the actual supplier of the goods or services. So these people are better known by whom? The e-commerce operator. So they're asking e-commerce operator, you better collect TCS and give it to us. Later, we will take care of these people. Because once TCS is collected and remitted to the government, now it becomes an obligation for the supplier to disclose such sales or outward supply, guys. Okay, now we will get into this. Whenever e-commerce operator is making the payment to the registered supplier of goods or services, they have to collect TCS at 0.25 with respect to intrastate supply, or if it is the interstate supply, 0.5% IGST. For the supplies other than D Rath, guys, that is Devara Ratyatra, because on this, the e-commerce operator is supposed to pay tax as per section 9.5. In that case, should they collect TCS? No. If e-commerce operator himself is liable to pay GST as per section 9.5 on this services, no TCS, guys. And which are those services? Let us try to recall. Which are these services, guys? We have learned as per section 9.5, which are notified. These are the services which are supplied through e-commerce operator. And suppliers might be the small people. They're asking e-commerce operator, you pay tax on these services as if you are the supplier. So which are those? Devara Ratyata, that is local delivery services, then R for restaurant, A for accommodation, then T for transportation of persons or passengers. The last one is housekeeping. If you book any of these services through e-commerce operator, then as per section 9.5, e-commerce operator is supposed to pay tax. In that case, no TCS. No TCS. So TCS is on any supplies other than DRAT, guys. Okay, sir. Fine. So TCS, and there is no threshold limits here. Sir, for TDS, we had a threshold limit of 2 lakh 50, no, sir. Only if the value of taxable supply is more than 2 lakh 50, we are supposed to deduct TDS. Here, is there any threshold limit like that? No. There is no threshold limits, guys. Is that clear? Yes. Then, whatever TCS has been collected by the e-commerce operator, they have to remit it to the government within 10th of next month and file a TCS statement, not returns, it is a statement within 10th of next month. So deposit the TCS amount and file TCS statement in GSTR 8 within 10th of next month. Okay, sir. And as soon as the e-commerce operator do this, that is deposit TCS and file GSTR 8, that credit of TCS will reflect in electronic cash ledger of the supplier, guys. The supplier. Is that clear? Yes. So in the previous chapter, we learned in electronic cash ledger, in addition to whatever amount is deposited, even TDS and TCS will reflect on the credit side, which can be utilized to pay anything under GST. Got it? Yes, sir. Okay. And also, the e-commerce operator is supposed to file an annual statement in GSTR 9B on or before 31st December of next financial year. And please be careful, guys. We don't call this as returns. We call it as statement, both of them. This is monthly, whereas this is annual. Got it? Yes, sir. So this is like a summary of TCS. Let us learn what is given here. Section 52 of CGST Act provides that every electronic commerce operator, not being an agent, okay, they should not be acting as an agent, shall collect an amount calculated at 0.25% CGST. So if it is an intrastate supply, 0.25% CGST, 0.25% SGST. Sir, what if it is interstate supply? Then 0.5% IGST, guys. Okay. Of the net value of taxable supplies made through HIT. Made through HIT is very important. Sir, what if the e-commerce operator is selling their own goods on the platform? For example, Amazon. Amazon has listed their own products on their platform, like Amazon Basics. So on that TCS is applicable? No, guys. In that case, supplier as well as e-commerce operator is same person. So that means, are they making any payment to any suppliers? No. In that case, no TCS. I repeat, if the e-commerce operator is selling their own products on the platform as they themselves are the supplier, no TCS. Okay. By the other suppliers, okay, only if the supply is taking place through other suppliers, where the consideration with respect to such supplies is to be collected by the operator. So TCS has to be collected. Yes, sir. And one important thing to take care, guys. Assume totally e-commerce operator has collected 1 lakh from the recipient. From which, okay, let me write here. They have collected 1 lakh from the recipient. Okay, sir. And they will deduct 20% commission for their services, which is 20,000. Remaining 80,000, they will give it to the supplier. So now TCS is at 0.25, 0.25 of what? 1 lakh or 80,000? It is 0.25, 0.25 of 1 lakh. Value of supply. Please be careful. Now, while e-commerce operator is giving the money to the recipient, they may give only 80,000 after deducting their commission, because they will be collecting any commission or platform fee. Yes. But TCS is on the value of supply. Please be careful, which is 1 lakh in my example. Got it? Yes, sir. Then explanation. The expression net value of taxable supply shall mean the aggregate value of taxable supply of goods or services or both, other than services which are notified under section 9.5, that is Devara Ratyatra. Because on this, the e-commerce operator himself has to pay tax. Made during any month by all registered persons. So supplier has to be registered, only then TCS. Sir, what if in case supplier is not registered? Then no TCS. Then no TCS, guys. Okay. Through the operator, reduced by the aggregate value of taxable supply returned to the suppliers during the said month. Means if there is any sales returns, we need to reduce it. Assume total sales during the month is 10 lakh, but there is a returns of 1 lakh. So we need to collect TCS on what amount? 9 lakh, guys. Net sales after the returns. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Okay. And one important thing, guys, they are telling only when the supplier is registered, the e-commerce operator has to collect TCS. What if in case, if the supplier is not registered? If it is a Devara Ratyatra services, they are anyway telling e-commerce operator, you are supposed to pay tax. In that case, no TCS. But in any other cases, assume it is other than Devara Ratyatra, but supplier is not registered, then no TCS, guys. No TCS. Because here clearly they are telling only when supplier is registered, collect TCS. Because if supplier is not registered, they are anyway not liable to pay GST. In that case, why to collect TCS? Even if TCS is collected, how will we pass on the credit to them? As they are not registered, they will not have any electronic cash ledger. How will we give the credit to them? Correct? No. Yes. And we already learned when should supplier get registered under GST. In registration chapter, we have learned. Correct? Through a chart I have explained. Let me just go back to that. We'll try to recall just a minute. You can also come to that registration chapter. I had given one chart now. Let us just try to recall. Yes, sir. This one. Yes, guys. So if e-commerce operator is paying tax as per section 9.5, registration is mandatory. Or if they're supposed to collect TCS as per section 52, registration is mandatory. But what about the supplier, sir? Guys, if supplier is supplying Devara Ratyatra services, they are anyway already small. So in that case, they would have not been registered. That is why they are asking e-commerce operator, you pay tax. In that case, should they take registration? Yes. Okay. If it is any other services other than Devara Ratyatra services, then if supplier's turnover is more than threshold limits of 20 lakh or 10 lakh, only then they have to take registration. Sir, what if it is, whether the services is supplied within the state or outside the state? Aggregate turnover limit is applicable to the supplier. If the aggregate turnover is within 20 lakh or 10 lakh, no registration. When there is no registration, no TCS, guys. Okay, fine, sir. Next, goods. If the supplier is supplying the goods through e-commerce operator, check whether it is intra or inter. If it is intra, if the supplier is supplying the goods only in one state, then the threshold limit is applicable. If the aggregate turnover of the supplier is within the threshold limit, they will not take registration. Hence, no TCS. Sir, what if the aggregate turnover is more than the threshold limit? Obviously, supplier has to obtain the registration. In that case, the e-commerce operator has to collect TCS. Okay. Sir, what if goods is supplied outside the state? Then supplier mandatory registration. Irrespective of his aggregate turnover, supplier has to take registration. In that case, e-commerce operator has to collect TCS. Is that clear, guys? Yes. So you should be knowing when supplier is supposed to take registration when he is supplying any goods or services through e-commerce operator. Because only if supplier is registered, e-commerce operator has to collect TCS on it for whatever payments he is making to the suppliers after collecting it from the recipient. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Come back. Okay. So the amount collected shall be paid to the government by the e-commerce operator within 10th of next month. And he will also file TCS statement in GSTR 8 within 10th of next month, which is monthly. Okay, sir. Then there is also an annual statement which e-commerce operator has to file in GSTR 9B on or before 31st December of next financial year, guys. Okay, sir. Then I have also given a note here. Guys, whoever is deducting the TDS as per section 51 or the e-commerce operator is supposed to collect TCS as per section 52. For them, it is mandatory to get registered as per section 24. Registration is mandatory. And they should apply for registration in GST REG 07. Whereas others and all will apply in REG 1, right? Yes. Whereas the TDS deductor or the TCS collector has to apply for registration in GST REG 7. For them, the registration process is slightly different. Got it? Yes, sir. So this is all about the concept of TDS and TCS, guys. So let us just mark the sections. Come to the sections list. Yes, sir. So in this chapter, we have covered two sections of CGST Act, guys, which are those 51 and 52. Sir, what about this sections in between? We will be covering it in the last chapter, guys. Section 37 to 48 is covered in returns topic, guys. Please make sure that whatever we have covered till now, you should be thorough of it. And this TDS and TCS concept, student normally have a notion that, oh, this is difficult because in income tax, especially TDS, would have been lengthy for you. But still, under GST, it is very easy, guys. Just one section and very simple concept. I have tried to give it as a summary here through a chart. Please make use of it and study well, guys. Yes, students, now we will revise the last topic under GST, that is returns. And please be careful, this is not income tax returns. Whatever we have learned in assessment procedure chapter in income tax, that is all about income tax returns. But now what we are covering is all about GST returns. The provisions with respect to returns under GST is covered in section 37 to 48 of CGST Act. And the same to same provision is applicable even under IGST Act as per section 20 of IGST Act, guys. Okay. First of all, sir, what is returns? Guys, returns is the communication of information by a registered person under GST to the tax department that what all he has done throughout the tax period with respect to outward supply as well as inward supply. So in simple, he has to give the details about output tax on outward supply minus what is the credit he can claim on the input tax on the inward supply, the remaining amount what he or she is supposed to pay through electronic cash ledger. So all these details has to be disclosed in the returns. Yes, sir. Then in any tax law, filing of return constitutes the most important compliance procedure. Now if I am supposed to file the returns, assume I am a registered person under GST, it is my responsibility to file the returns, whichever return I am supposed to file, because there are different types of returns under GST. If I don't file the returns within the due date, then it is a non-compliance by me. Yes. And once I have filed the returns, it also helps the department to cross check whether whatever I have disclosed, is it right or wrong? Is there any omission? Is there any mistake? All this they can cross check. And if required, the proper officer can also issue the notice asking for more information or data by the registered person. Yes. And there are different types of returns under GST, guys, which has to be filed by different persons under the different scenarios. So you can see in this paragraph I have mentioned. There are various types of returns under GST, like the first return, monthly return, return from composition supplier, that is under section 10, then TDS return or the return for input service distributor, annual return, and final return. Under GST, everything is online, means you have to file the returns online. There is no option to file manual returns, guys, and is updated and matched regularly. If a business is done from offices in multiple states, then the number of returns will go up accordingly. Means, guys, under GST, filing returns as well as payment of tax is registration wise. So assume I have taken registration in all the states and union territory in India. Then accordingly, I need to file the returns and pay tax for each and every registration separately. So in simple, filing returns is GST IN wise, guys, and it is not all India based. Okay. Under the GST laws, the correct and timely filing of returns is of utmost importance because of two reasons. What are those? Firstly, under the GST laws, a taxpayer is required to estimate his own tax liability on self-assessment basis. So I need to calculate my own output tax. Then on output tax, how much credit? On outward supply, how much output tax I'm supposed to pay? Yes. And on inward supply, whatever tax I have paid, it would have been auto-populated to me in my GST at 2A as well as 2B. Yes. Adjust it if I am eligible to claim credit. Then the remaining I have to pay through cash ledger, and all these details has to be given by me in my returns, and deposit the tax amount along with or before filing the such returns. So in most of the cases, the due date to file return is the due date to pay tax. So before filing the returns, the registered person has to make sure that he has paid the tax liability, whatever he is supposed to pay through electronic cash ledger. And I will also upload a separate video on GST liability calculation as already informed. Guys, the GST liability calculation question will come under descriptive type for 10 marks under compulsory section. So please make sure that you will capitalize on it and score the maximum there, where you should know how to calculate the output tax, then how to adjust the ITC in the sequence, then how much is the amount which has to be paid through electronic cash ledger. Okay, sir. Then, secondly, under the GST regime, filing of returns also has a huge bearing on determination of tax liability of the other person, that is the recipient. Because if supplier defaults giving the details of outward supply in GSTR 1, then recipient cannot claim the credit. Recipient cannot claim credit. Even if by chance, assume the supplier has given the details of outward supply in GSTR 1, but later he didn't file GSTR 3B for the same period. So there is a time till 30th September of next financial year. Hope you remember this provision we have discussed in input tax credit chapter. I repeat. Assume the supplier has given the details of outward supply in GSTR 1. Recipient has claimed the credit because the credit was appearing in GSTR 2B. Okay. But later for the same period, supplier didn't file GSTR 3B. In that case, as per rule 37A, the recipient has to reverse the credit. So if supplier didn't file GSTR 3B within 30th September of next financial year, then within 30th November, that is within 2 months, the recipient has to reverse credit. Actually, the due date to file GSTR 3B is 20th of next month. But still, as per rule 37A, they are giving time till 30th September of next financial year. Till then, if supplier has not filed GSTR 3B and if recipient has already claimed credit, then recipient has to reverse the credit, guys. Has to reverse credit within what time? 30th November of the financial year. That is next financial year. Got it? Yes, sir. This topic we already covered in the input tax credit chapter, guys. Yes. So filing of returns is of utmost importance, sir. Yes, sir. And whatever sections we will be covering in this chapter, guys, I have given the list here. Two sections have been omitted already from the act itself, that is section 42 and 43. Remaining section, whatever is a part of your syllabus, will be learning here. Will be learning here. And whatever sections list I have given here, it is a part of CGST Act, and same to same is applicable even under IGST Act, except the late fee part, which is given in section 47. Anyway, what is the amount of late fee is not a part of your syllabus, so you need not worry about it. Got it? Yes, sir. Fine, guys. So next, I have given the table of various returns to be filed by different kind of persons under GST. So what is the return? Who has to file it? Within what time? That is the due date. Got it? Yes. But before I start with this, guys, I know most of you would have come from your hometown to do CA to the tier 1 cities or for your coaching, or maybe it is not possible for you to study at your hometown, so you have shifted to a different cities. But please make sure that when you're returning back to your hometown, you have to be a successful person. Never go back to your hometown as a loser, as a failure, guys. I know you're doing your best. If you feel somewhere that you can still do better, please make sure that you are giving your best, and make sure you are pushing hard every day. Only few days are left for the exam, so you have to push hard. And if you are already doing, then try to improve your productivity time. If you feel that you are wasting your time here and there, maybe on unproductive things, that is your mobile, or maybe watching TV or roaming around, whatever it is, try to cut it down, guys. I know the journey is not going to be easy. You will face lot of hurdles. You will face lot of difficulties. So there will be a tough time which you guys might face in this process. But no matter what, you have to do it, guys. Because at the end, you have only two options to tell. One is, sir, I cleared this exam in spite of dash 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 dash. This is the first statement. The second one is, sir, I couldn't clear the exam because of. So which statement looks better for you? You decide, guys. So please make sure that you are giving your 100% no matter what. I know studying for a long hours is tough, but just imagine if you cannot clear again and again, you have to sit and study the same portion. Don't you think that would be more tougher? Yes. So push yourself. Maybe you're studying for 10 or 12 hours. So try to improve it. Maybe 1 hour or half an hour extra every day, and you are nearing to the exams, so this time is very crucial, guys. And if you feel that you're wasting the time or you're spending some unproductive time, please try to cut it down as much as possible. Got it? Yes. So let us continue now. Fine. So the first return, GSTR1 along with GSTR3B, has to be filed by every registered person under section 9, guys. So I will try to explain this with an example. Yeah, you can see every person who is registered under GST as per section 9, that is normal scheme, they have to file GSTR1 every month, giving the details of outward supply as well as output tax within 11th of next month. Within 11th of next month. And they should also file GSTR 3B, giving the details of outward supply, output tax, inward supply, and input tax. This would be in more summarized way. And this has to be filed within 20th of next month. And whatever due date I have given here is the due date to be filed, that is to file GSTR 1 as well as 3B for a person who is under section 9 and filing the returns monthly. They also have the option to file the returns quarterly, guys. So what is the due date to file the returns quarterly also I will discuss. But if question is silent, guys, always go with monthly. If they themselves have specified clearly in the question that the person is filing the quarterly returns or they are following QRMP, then accordingly follow it. If not, please go with the monthly returns. Is that clear? Yes, sir. So let us see that. GSTR1 filed by a registered person, that is under section 9, providing the details of outward supply including the CTP, that is casual taxable person. Okay, sir. Then if they are filing it monthly, the due date is 11th of next month. Actually, as per the act, it is 10th, whereas through notification, they have made it as 11th, guys. So what is the actual due date is 11th. Clear? Yes. Then if they are filing it quarterly, that is, if the person who is registered under section 9, if they are filing GSTR 1 quarterly, then the due date is 13th day of the month succeeding each quarter, guys. For example, for April, May, June, it will be 13th July. Whereas, assume I will take one more example. For Jan, Feb, March, it would be 13th April. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Next, whoever is filing one, they should also file GSTR 3B. Please be careful. GSTR 1 is covered in section 37, whereas GSTR 3B is covered in section 39. Simple written in which summary of outward supply along with the input tax credit is declared and payment of tax is affected registered person including CTP. Registered person which section, guys? Section 9. Got it? Including CTP. Even casual taxable person has to file GSTR 3B for his active period of registration. Okay, sir. So if they are filing it monthly, it is 20th of next month. Whereas if they are filing it quarterly, then 22nd or 24th of the month succeeding each quarter. For few states, it is 22nd, and for few states, it is 24th, guys. Is that clear? So please be careful, sir. Are we supposed to know for each state what is the due date, 22nd or 24th? I don't think they will test you, but still, it is good to know. It is good to know. I will just show you for which states it is 22nd or 24th. This is from my provision book. Just a minute. Yeah, you can see here I have given for the following states, it is 22nd of the month succeeding each quarter, whereas for the this states, it is 24th of the month succeeding each quarter, guys. Clear? So it is good to know, but I don't think they will test you with respect to the state name, what is the due date and all. If in case if state name is not given, guys, you can just write 22nd or 24th of the month succeeding each quarter. Got it? GSTR 1 is 13th of the month succeeding each quarter, whereas 3B is 22nd for few states and 24th for the other states succeeding each quarter. So in simple, 13th of the first month of next quarter for GSTR 1, whereas 22nd or 24th of the first month of next quarter for GSTR 3B. Yes. Okay. Then whoever is filing 1 and 3B should also file GSTR 9, guys. Should also file GSTR 9. Yes, sir. So what is it? Annual return. So GSTR 1 and 3B is monthly or quarterly, whereas 9 is yearly. So the annual return for a taxpayer, that is as per section 9, who is registered under section 9, filing GSTR 1 and 3B should file 9, but except CTP. CTP will file only 1 and 3B, but not 9. Because for them, the maximum period for which registration is granted is 90 or another extension of maximum 90. So they would not be operating throughout the year, guys. So that is why for them only 1 and 3B and not 9. And not 9. Okay, sir. So what is the due date to file GSTR 9? 31st December of next financial year. Guys, many places they have given the deadline. Like for example, deadline to avail the credit as per section 16(4) and all. There, the deadline is 30th November of next financial year or actual date of filing annual return. Actually, the due date is 31st December, but they didn't use the word due date there. They have used the word actual date of filing the annual return. So please be careful with it. So we have covered three things now. That is GSTR 9, 1 and 3B. I will just try to summarize it. Here. So this is for a person who is registered under section 9, guys. Okay. Now, assume a person is registered under section 9. Now, he has to file GSTR 1 giving the details of outward supply and output tax. Okay, sir. Within what time? 11th of next month. I am considering monthly. Okay, sir. Then they should also file GSTR 3B within 20th of next month. But before that, whatever inward supply they would have taken from a particular supplier, that supplier will file GSTR 1 or they will give the details of outward supply using invoice furnishing facility if they have opted for QRMP. Yes, sir. So when supplier has given the details of the outward supply for him, whereas for this person it would be inward supply, the credit will appear or reflect in GSTR 2B, that is input tax credit. Okay, sir. So the output tax as per GSTR 1 will be here. Okay. Whereas the input tax credit as per GSTR 2B will appear here. Please be careful. This is with respect to the inward supply. Whatever I have given in green color. Okay, sir. So combining both of this, the details has to be given in GSTR 3B in a summarized way on or before 20th of next month. So what all details has to be given in GSTR 3B? Outward supply, inward supply. On outward supply, what is the output tax? And on inward supply, what is the input tax? And finally, how much has to be paid through electronic cash ledger? And whatever is the due date to file GSTR 3B, that is the due date to pay GST, guys. That is the due date to pay GST. Is that clear? Yes, sir. So GSTR 1 as well as GSTR 3B I have covered here monthly. Even if it is quarterly, sir, accordingly the returns due dates will change, but payment of tax will be monthly only. Even if the person who is under section 9, if they are opting for QRMP, they will file returns quarterly, but they have to pay tax monthly. We'll discuss in detail about QRMP little later. Okay, sir. So along with GSTR 1 and 3B, the registered person should also file GSTR 9 within 31st December of next financial year, giving the details of all the months, that is the entire year. Is that clear? And please be careful, GSTR 2B is not a return. It is a statement in which the credit will appear on what? Inward supply, based on the information given by my supplier in his GSTR 1 or using invoice furnishing facility if he has opted for QRMP. Yes, sir. Fine. Next. So this is all about the person who is registered under section 9. Very important returns, guys. GSTR 1, 3B, monthly or quarterly, along with that GSTR 9 annually. Okay. Next, GSTR 4 and 9A. That is for the person who is registered under section 10. Okay. But before that, I have given a note here. Let us just read it. In the next page, second note. First, let us read the second note. Registered person filing the returns GSTR 1 and 3B are required to file an annual return in GSTR 9. Okay, we already learned it. But the following people need not file GSTR 9, guys. Who are those? The following people need not file GSTR 9. Who are those? Casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person, input service distributor, then person authorized to deduct the tax, that is as per section 51, or the person who is authorized to collect tax as per section 52, that is e-commerce operator. Okay, then persons supplying online information and database access or retrieval services from a place outside India to a person in India other than the registered recipient, means recipient is not registered. Okay, guys, if you remember, for all these people as per section 24, one second, for all these people as per section 24, registration is mandatory, and all these people has to file separate return except CTP. This CTP will file 1 and 3B, but not 9. But not 9. Whereas others will file different returns, guys. Different returns are applicable for them. Okay. But there is a relief given for the person who is supposed to file GSTR 9. What is it? The Commissioner, on the recommendation of the GST Council, in respect of filing of annual return for the financial year 24-25 onwards, has exempted the registered person whose aggregate turnover in any financial year is up to 2 crores from filing annual return for that said financial year. Means annual return in GSTR 9 has to be filed only if the aggregate turnover in a financial year is more than 2 crore. If the aggregate turnover is within 2 crore, then GSTR 9 is not required. Means those people has to file only 1 and 3 and not 9. Is that clear? So as per this paragraph, which is a recent amendment, guys, GSTR 9 is applicable only if the aggregate turnover in a financial year is more than 2 crore. Is that clear? Yes. Sir, is it a preceding financial year or current financial year? Current financial year. If the aggregate turnover in the current financial year is up to 2 crore, then no annual return, guys. Is that clear? Yes. Fine. Coming back now. So GSTR 4 and 9A has to be filed by composition supplier. First, we will see 4. Return for a composition supplier, both under section 10.1 as well as 10.2A, annually within 30th June of next financial year. They have to pay tax quarterly, but file returns annually, guys. Okay. And they should also file one more return, that is GSTR 9A, annual return for composition supplier as per section 10 annually within 31st December of next financial year, both being annual, and I have given a note for it. First note, you can see here, come to this note. Composition supplier paying tax under section 10 of CGST Act shall follow the special procedure for furnishing of return and payment of tax, which are as follows. Okay, what is it, sir? Quarterly statement in form GST CMP 08 by 18th of the month succeeding such quarter for payment of self-assessed tax. Guys, the composition supplier has to pay tax quarterly. The due date to pay tax is 18th of the month succeeding each quarter. So he has to pay the tax and file a payment statement in GST CMP 08. Is that clear? That is quarterly. And please be careful while calculating the turnover to pay tax, we need to apply explanation 2 to section 10. Explanation 2 to section 10, which you already learned. Yes, what is it, sir? Two things has to be excluded. That is the value of exempt supply by extending loan or advances for which in return interest or discount is charged. Yes. The other one is the threshold limit applicable for registration. That is either 10 lakh, 20 lakh or 40 lakh. Is that clear? That is to calculate the turnover to pay tax in the current year. Fine. Then coming to the annual return in GSTR 4 by 30th June of next financial year. Then annual return in GSTR 9A by 31st December of next financial year. Got it? This is for the composition supplier, guys. So we learned for both the persons who are registered under section 9 as well as 10. Then we also have some special people. Who are those? GSTR 5 has to be filed by the non-resident taxable person. Even for them, the registration is mandatory. Correct? Yes. So they have to file only for their active period of registration. They have to file the returns. Even for them, the maximum registration will be granted for 90 days plus extension for maximum 90 days. Correct? Yes, sir. So they have to file GSTR 5 monthly within what time? 13th of the next month or within 7 days after the last day of validity period of the registration, whichever is earlier. For example, assume guys their registration was active for full January. For full January. In that case, they have to file GSTR 5 within 13th of February. Assume in February their registration ended on 15th February because they would have taken the registration for a temporary period. Assume their registration got expired on 15th February. So within 7 days from 15th February or 13th March, whichever is earlier, within 7 days from 15th February, that would be 22nd February is the due date to file returns for February, guys. Clear? So this is only for the period during which their registration will expire. If their registration is active for the full month, then we will straight away take 13th of next month as the due date. Got it? Yes, sir. Next, GSTR 7 is for the person who is deducting the TDS as per section 51, that is government authority, PSU and all. Yes, sir. They have to file the returns monthly. Okay, within what time? 10th of next month. And they have to file it for every month. For example, assume they were deducting TDS for Jan, Feb, March. In April, they didn't deduct any TDS. Still, should they file GST or 7? Yes, they have to file nil returns. Once they have filed the returns as TDS deductor for any month, then they have to file it for all the months, even though in any particular month, if they have not deducted TDS, they have to at least file nil returns, guys. Got it? Yes, sir. Then GSTR 8 is a statement. We don't call it as a return. In the law, they are calling it a statement, guys. Yeah. Details of supplies affected through e-commerce operator and the amount of tax collected at source under section 52. It has to be filed monthly within 10th of next month. Within 10th of next month, guys. Okay, sir. That is by the e-commerce operator. Okay. Then whoever is filing 8, they should also file 9B, which is an annual statement. 8 is monthly statement, whereas 9B is the annual statement. Okay, that is the TCS collector. Annual statement for e-commerce operator annually, the due date is 31st December of next financial year. So you can see whatever is covered as annually, annual return or even annual statement, the due date is 31st December of next financial year, guys. That's common, the due date. Yes. Then GSTR 10 is the final return to be filed by a person whose registration is cancelled as per section 29. Whosoever's registration has been cancelled as per section 29, they have to tell one final goodbye to the department by filing final return. Okay. So you can see once when the GST registration is cancelled or surrendered, within 3 months of the date of cancellation or the date of cancellation order, whichever is later. Okay, so date of cancellation means effective date of cancellation as per the cancellation order, yes, passed by the proper officer, or the date of cancellation order. For both of this, add 3 months and take whichever is later. whichever is later. Within that time, one final return has to be filed, guys. Okay, sir. Next, GSTR 11. This has to be filed by the person who is having unique identity number, guys. Unique identity number. Sir, who will have unique identity number? We have learned in registration topic. Yes, that is the specialized agency of UNO or the foreign embassies or consulate. Yes, sir. So they would have obtained a UIN, but they are not called registered person. Yes. But should they file returns? Yes. GSTR 11 within 28th of the month succeeding. That is in simple 28th of next month. 28th of next month. Sir, why should they file GSTR 1? Guys, simple. Whatever tax they would have paid on their inward supply, we are giving a refund of that. So they have to give the details, especially of their inward supply through GSTR 11 within 28th of the month. That is next month. Got it? Yes. Fine. So we're done with all this? Yes, we'll continue. This is with respect to GSTR1. We have covered all the different types of returns, guys. Now we will go little detail about few important returns. GSTR1. The details of outward supply furnished in form GSTR1 shall include the following. So in GSTR1, we need to give invoice-wise details for B2B supplies. That is when recipient is registered, it has to be given invoice-wise. For each and every invoice, we need to give the details separately. Then if it is a B2C supply, check whether it is interstate supply. And if the value is more than 1 lakh, then we need to give invoice wise. We need to give invoice wise. Okay. Whereas we can give consolidated details for others. For others means whichever is not covered here. So I have given this in green, which is opposite, guys. Simple. Intrastate supply made to unregistered person, that is B2C. And state-wise interstate supplies, we need to give state-wise consolidated details for interstate supply where the invoice value is up to 1 lakh if the recipient is unregistered. Is that clear? And all the debit and credit note details has to be given during the month in which the respective documents are issued, guys. We already learned actually about this in section 34. Hope you remember. When a debit note is issued by the supplier, you need to give the details of debit note in GSTR1 in the same month. In the same month. Yes, sir. In the same month, GSTR1. No extension, nothing. Whereas if it is a credit note, they are told the credit note details has to be given in GSTR1 of the same month. Whereas, can it be given later also? Yes. The timeline is till 30th November of next financial year or actual date of filing the annual return, whichever is earlier. This is only for credit note. Whereas for debit note, such extension is not there. Got it? This is as per section 34, guys, which we already learned in the invoice, credit and debit note topic. Okay, sir. So if I have to just summarize this, guys, I have given a simple chart here. In GSTR 1, we have to give invoice wise details for what? B2B supplies, whether it is intra or inter, doesn't matter. Whereas if it is B2C supply, then we need to check whether it is interstate supply. Yes. Then also check value. If value of supply as per the invoice is more than 1 lakh, value of supply, okay, excluding GST. If it is more than 1 lakh, then we need to give invoice wise details. Okay. For all others, we need to give consolidated details, guys. Is that clear? Yes. Next. The details of outward supply furnished by the supplier shall be made available to the concerned registered person being a recipient in form GSTR 2A as well as 2B. And for the composition supplier, it is GSTR 4A. Oh. Guys, here I explained, hope you remember it. This details will reflect to the recipient in GSTR 2A as well as 2B. These details are given by whom? By the supplier. From whom I have taken the inward supply. Yes. So this supplier would have given the details of his outward supply using GSTR1 or if he is following QRMP using IFF. Yes, sir. So that will reflect to the recipient in GSTR 2A as well as 2B. And which is more important between 2A and 2B means 2B. 2A will be updated on real-time basis. That is, as and when the supplier give the details in GSTR1 or using IFF, immediately it will reflect in GSTR2A. And GSTR2A will also show TDS, TCS credit and all. But which is most important is 2B, which is a static statement. It will be updated only once in a month. Only once in a month, that is 14th. The deadline for the supplier to give the details of outward supply is 13th, assuming they are following The QRMP, yes, the maximum deadline is 13th. Yes. So GSTR 2B would be updated only once in a month, that is on 14th. Got it? Yes. That is the main difference between 2A and 2B. 2A will be updated on real-time basis. So it keeps on changing as and when the supplier give the details. Whereas 2B will be updated only once in a month. Okay. Sir, what about 4A? This is for the recipient who is registered under composition scheme. But can he claim any credit? No. Composition supplier cannot claim any credit on his inward supply. So whatever credit is appearing in GSTR 4A, the composition supplier can just see it, feel happy and forget it. He cannot utilize it, guys. It will just appear there. He cannot utilize it. Got it? Yes. Sequencing of returns is mandatory under GST unless the earlier return is not filed. Current month return cannot be filed. For example, sir, I have not filed the returns for last month. Can I file it for the current month? No, not possible. First file the returns, that is the pending returns. Only then you will be allowed to file the returns for the current period. Got it? But anyway, government can give an exemption. But if government is not giving any exemption, then it is always sequencing of returns under GST, guys. Okay. Then a taxpayer cannot file GSTR 1 before the end of the current tax period. Sir, assume I am filing the returns for November. Before 30th November, can I file the returns? No, sorry. You have to wait till the end of the month and only then you can file the returns. That is in the December. From 1st December to 11th December, you can file it on any day. Is that clear? Yes. Sir, what if I'm not having any business in the last week of November? Can I file it in the last week of November itself? No, no, not possible. If your registration is active, wait till the end of the month and you can start filing GSTR only from the 1st of next month. So in simple, you cannot file GSTR 1 before the month end, guys, or before the period ends. Okay. Even if it is quarterly, before the quarter end, you cannot file GSTR 1. However, following are the exceptions to this rule. That is, casual taxpayer after the closure of their business. For example, assume I had taken a registration as casual taxable person. My registration is coming to end on 10th October. So before 31st October only can I file GSTR 1? Yes, you can file it. Yes, sir. Then cancellation of GSTIN of a normal taxable person, normal taxpayer, that is as per section 29. So if my registration is cancelled, assume my registration is cancelled, the effective date of cancellation is 15th October. So before 31st October, can I file my last GSTR 1? Yes, I can file it. So only in the following two cases, we can file GSTR 1 before the month end or before the end of the tax period. Whereas in any other case, we have to wait till the end of the period, guys. Okay, sir. Next. Now, even if there is a zero activity under GST, guys, sir, my sales is zero, my purchases is zero, still we need to file returns. That is called nil returns, which we can file through SMS. Okay, sir. That is nil return under section 39, that is GSTR 3B, provided my sales as well as purchases, nothing is there. Sir, sales is zero, purchase only one is there. Can I file GSTR 3B nil? No, not possible. Even if you have made one sales or one purchases, you have to file GSTR 3B, which is not a nil. You have to give the details. Nil means what? I have zero activity. Same way, sir, if I don't have any outward supply, can I file GSTR 1 nil? Yes, you have to file. Then what about CMP 08? Sir, I don't have any activity during the quarter. So that means the tax to be paid by a composition supplier under section 10 is zero. Should they still file the nil payment statement in CMP 08? Yes. Sir, what if composition supplier has zero activity throughout the year? Should they file still GSTR 4? Yes, which is nil. Not possible because throughout the year you cannot have any activity. Okay, you cannot have zero activity. In that case, obviously your registration also might be cancelled if you have zero activity throughout the year. Clear? Because GSTR 4 is annual, no? Yes. But monthly, yes, sir. Because some of the months I might have an off season, or else I don't want to do business. Assume in December month, year end, I want to enjoy my life, so I am traveling, zero activity. Even in that case, if I am under section 9, I should file GSTR 1 as well as 3B nil return. Okay. Whereas under section, if I am under section 10, then during a quarter, even if payment is zero, still I need to file nil payment statement. Or throughout the year, there is zero activity, sir. Then file nil return in GSTR 4. Got it? Yes, sir. Next. Rectification of errors or omission. Section 39, subsection 9. Omission or incorrect particulars discovered in the returns, that is GSTR 1 or 3B, filed can be rectified in the return to be filed for the tax period during which such omission or incorrect particulars are noticed. Guys, assume I have already filed my GSTR 1 or 3B for the past period. But in that there was a mistake or omission which I have noticed now. Can I rectify it? Yes. There is no concept of revised return under GST, but we can rectify our mistake. Sir, how will I do it? Through GSTR 1. Through GSTR 1. So for the current month, I will file GSTR 1, no? Yes. So in that, I can correct the mistakes of the previous GSTR 1 or 3B. So whatever mistakes are done in either GSTR 1 or 3B, I can correct it in the subsequent month GSTR 1. So correction is always through GSTR 1. Is that clear? Sir, what is the maximum deadline to correct the mistake? It is 30th November of next financial year or actual date of filing the annual return, guys. That is GSTR 9, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. If in case, if this is not given in the question, straight away go with 30th November. 30th November. Is that clear? And this is the deadline for many of the things under GST, guys. That is to give credit note details or to claim the credit. All this, for all that purpose, the deadline is this one. Yes. The above time limit is for both rectifying the errors in GSTR 1 as well as 3B, guys, which is already filed. Got it? Yes, sir. But they have introduced something called as GSTR 1A. Sir, what is GSTR 1A? Guys, after filing 1, if I have noticed any mistake or omission in 1 before filing 3B in the same month, I can amend it through 1A. I can amend it through 1A. For example, listen, interesting. Assume I have already filed GSTR 1 for a particular month on or before 11th of next month. But before filing 3B, I noticed a mistake. I noticed a mistake in what? GSTR 1. Can I amend it? Yes, through GSTR 1A. Through GSTR 1A. So when can I file GSTR 1A is after filing 1 but before filing 3B. But in the same tax period. In the same tax period, I can amend the mistake in GSTR 1 through what? GSTR 1A. GSTR 1A, guys. Yes. So let me just read it. A registered person may, after furnishing the details of outward supplies of the goods or service or both, in Form GSTR 1 for a tax period, but before filing the return in Form GSTR 3B for the said tax period, at his own option, amend or furnish the additional details of outward supplies of goods or services or both in Form GSTR 1A for the said tax period. Got it? Yes, sir. In cases where a taxpayer, after having filed GSTR 1, realizes that some amendment or downward or upward adjustment is required to be made in the tax liability in Form GSTR 1, then there is an optional form available in 1A to amend it, guys. Sir, what? If the mistake made in GSTR 1, I noticed it only in the next month, then you can rectify it through 1 only of the next month, like how we have seen. If you have noticed the mistake in the subsequent period, then you can amend, you can rectify it through the GSTR 1 of that month. For example, assume there was a mistake in GSTR 1 of January, which I noticed in March. So for March, we will file GSTR 1, no? Through that, I can rectify it. Through that, I can rectify it. That means 1A is applicable when, sir? Now I have made mistake in GSTR 1 of January. Okay. So GSTR 1 I have filed on or before 11th February? Yes. But before I file GSTR 3B for January, I realized this mistake. Can I amend it? Yes. I can amend it. So after filing 1, but before filing 3B, whatever time gap is there, no? Within that, I can amend the mistakes in 1 through 1A. Sir, after filing 3B, I understood, sir. Then you can correct it only through your subsequent tax period, GSTR 1. Is that clear? You can still do it, but not through 1A, but through subsequent month GSTR 1, guys. Is that clear? Yes. This allows him to add any particulars of the current tax period missed out in reporting in Form GSTR 1 of current tax period, or amend any particulars already declared in Form GSTR 1 of the current tax period. Current tax period means in the same period. If I have noticed the mistake in the subsequent period, I already told you we can rectify it through that particular month GSTR 1, guys. Okay. Including those declared in IFF, that is invoice furnishing facility, for the first and second months of the quarter, if any, for the quarterly taxpayers, that is who is following QRMP. Sir, even if there is any mistake made in the details of outward supply given through IFF by the QRMP person, can we amend it through 1 year? Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it, guys. Sir, what is the timeline to file GSTR 1A? I already told you. It will start from, guys, listen here. Let me tell it clear. When the window to file GSTR 1A will open is the actual date of filing GSTR 1 or the due date of filing GSTR 1, whichever is later. Whichever is actual date or due date to file GSTR 1, whichever is later. And when will the window get closed, sir? Actual date of filing GSTR 3B. Actual date of filing GSTR 3B. Okay, I have given few example here. Just a minute. Yeah, just observe. So assume GSTR 1 and 3B is filed monthly. Let me just take a random example, July 2025. Okay, sir. So what is the due date to file GSTR 1 monthly for July is 11th August. 11th August. And actual date, I have given different dates. So compare both, take whichever is later. Take whichever is later, guys. So this is the start date to file GSTR 1A. Okay, so here it is 11th, 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 13th. That is the start date. You can observe here. Sir, what is the end date to file GSTR 1A? That is the actual date of filing GSTR 3B, guys. So I have given you. So you can see here, there is a delay in filing GSTR 3B. Still, we will get the time till then. Still, we will get the time till then. Okay. Now assume the person is following QRMP. So for April, May, June, what is the due date to file GSTR 1? 13th of July. And assume actual date is 11 July, 13 July, 13 July, 15 July. Compare both and take whichever is later. That is the start date. That is the start date. And the end date is actual date of filing GSTR 3. So GSTR 1A window for amendment is from so and so date to so and so dates, guys. I have clearly given. If you want, I will just show you. You can just pause the video and go through it, guys. This is monthly and this is quarterly. Got it? Yes. Okay. Sir, why did they introduce this 1A, guys? That is, if there is any mistake in 1, before filing 3B, if I have noticed it, I can amend it through 1A. Why did they introduce? Guys, the department or proper officer will issue the notice if there is any mismatch between 1 and 3B. Sir, what are those? Rule 88C and 88T. Okay, I will just cover that through my provision book. Just a minute. Yeah. So Rule 88C gives power to the proper officer to issue notice whenever there is a mismatch of information between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B of a registered person. Okay. So means the output supply or output tax details are not matching as per GSTR 1 as well as 3B for the same producer. For the same period. For example, just a minute. Assume for January month, for those who are filing monthly, or for Jan, Feb, March quarter, who is filing quarterly, the details given in GSTR 1 is outward supply is 10 lakh, on that output tax is 1 lakh. Okay, sir. Whereas in 3B, they have disclosed the value of outward supply as 8 lakh and output tax as 80,000. So these details are not matching, sir. So in that case, as per rule 88C, the proper officer will issue the notice. So when notice is issued to the registered person, within 7 days, they have to either pay the amount whatever is mentioned in the notice, or they have to reply. They have to reply to the notice telling whatever is the genuine reason. If they have a genuine reason for that difference, they have to explain it. Got it? Yes, sir. Same way, if there is a mismatch of information between GSTR 2B with respect to input tax and 3B, if there is a mismatch of information, and this is given by whom, guys? My supplier, from whom I have taken the inward supply. Okay. Whatever they have given the details in is their GSTR1 or invoice furnishing facility will reflect in my GSTR2B, right? Yes. With respect to input tax. And whatever credit I have claimed as in 3B, no, they are not matching, sir. They are not matching. For example, you can see for either January month or if it is QRMP, Jan, Feb, and March quarter. Sir, the credit as per GSTR 2B, which is auto reflected as per GSTR 1 of whom? The suppliers. All the suppliers would have given the details of their outward supply in GSTR 1 or even using IFF, right? Yes. That will reflect to me in GSTR 2B. In that, what is the value of inward supply? Assume 10 lakh. And what is the input tax on it? 1 lakh. Whereas in my GSTR 3B, I have claimed that my value of inward supply is 12 lakh and input tax is 1.2 lakh. That means I have claimed excess credit of 20,000. So in that case, Rule 88D gives power to the proper officer to issue notice, guys. To issue notice. So in that case, if notice is issued within 7 days, the registered person either have to pay the amount mentioned in the notice or reply to the notice, giving the reason. Yes, sir. In both these cases, guys, that is as per Rule 88C or 88D, if the registered person doesn't pay tax or he doesn't reply to the notice, he doesn't do both of this, then the proper officer can take an initiative to recover the amount whatever is liable to be paid by the registered person along with interest as per section 79, which is a recovery section. Yes. And also, the person will not be allowed to give the details of his outward supply using GSTR 1 or invoice furnishing facility, which will also impact their recipients. Because if supplier is not able to give the details of their outward supply in GSTR 1 or using invoice furnishing facility, even the recipient will not be able to claim the credit, guys. Is that clear? Yes, the provisions are almost same to same, but only the scenario is different, guys. The consequence would be same, whereas scenario. Rule 88C is for mismatch of information between GSTR 1 and 3B of the same person for the same period, whereas Rule 88D is for mismatch of information between GSTR 2B and GSTR 3B with respect to inward supply and input tax. Clear? And anyway, GSTR 2B is not the return to be filed, it is a statement. The details in this will be auto reflected through what? Supplier would have filed their GSTR 1 or given the details of outward supply in invoice furnishing facility. No, yes, that will reflect here. Who? My supplier, from whom I have taken the inward supply. Got it, guys? Yes. So as the department or the proper officer used to issue the notice whenever there is a mismatch of 1 and 3B. Many a times what happens now, I would have filed one, later I will realize, oh yo, there was one thing I missed it. Or I have over recorded a sales or I have under recorded a sales. But I will correct it in my GSTR 3B. So because of that, there will be a mismatch between 1 and 3B. Because 1 I have to file on or before 11th of next month. Yes. By the time I file GSTR 3B within 20th, I have realized my mistake. So I gave a correct details in 3B. So there would be a mismatch between 1 and 3B. Yes. Previously, before introduction of GSTR 1A, I could correct my mistake in 1 only in the subsequent month GSTR 1. But now, after introduction of 1A, guys, after introduction of 1A, if there is any mistake or omission in GSTR 1, which I have noticed before filing 3B for the same period, I can amend it. I can amend it so that the Rule 88C can be avoided, guys. That is, the notice under Rule 88C can be avoided. Got it? Yes, sir. Oh. Next, what is the due date for payment of GST? The due dates for payment of tax in respect of the person who is filing GSTR 3B as well as GSTR 5, that is NRTP, are linked with the due dates for filing of such returns, guys. That is, whatever is the due date to file the returns is the due date to pay GST. But GSTR 5 is to be filed by the NRTP. That person would have deposited the amount in advance itself. At the time of taking the registration itself, they would have deposited the amount. But if there is any shortfall, they have to pay it before filing the returns. Got it? Because whatever amount they would have deposited is purely based on estimation. So if there is any short payment, they have to pay it before filing GSTR 5, guys. Okay. However, due dates for the payment of tax in respect of a person required to file quarterly GSTR 3B under QRMP scheme is different. The return due date might be different, whereas the payment of tax due date might be different, because the person who is under QRMP will pay the tax monthly but file the returns quarterly, guys. And for the person who is paying the tax under composition scheme, that is section 10, for them, they will file the returns annually, GSTR 4 and 9A, whereas they have to pay tax quarterly. And they should also file the payment statement. Whatever is the due date to pay tax is linked to the due date to file payment statement in GST CMP 08, guys. Got it? Yes, sir. Next, coming to QRMP scheme. This is only for the person who is under section 9, guys. Please be careful. Students might get confused with QRMP and composition scheme. No, no, no. Composition scheme is not at all. The person who is under composition scheme is not at all eligible for QRMP, because they are already filing the returns annually. They are already filing the returns annually. They pay tax quarterly, file payment statement quarterly, but file returns annually. So this is for the person who is under section 9, but they cannot file returns every month. Because assume I am filing the returns every month. I have to file GSTR 1 12 returns, GSTR 3B 12 returns plus one annual return if it is applicable. Totally 25 returns in a year. Whereas if I am following QRMP, then I need to file GSTR 1 4, that is 4 quarters are there in a year. Yes, 3B 4 plus one annual return. It will be only 9. So for the person who is following QRMP, the compliance burden might be reduced, guys. Compliance burden might be reduced, but it is not available for everyone. Okay, it is only available for a small suppliers whose aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year is up to 5 crore. Pan India based, all registrations put together. Yes, sir. So if the aggregate turnover in the last financial year or preceding financial year is up to 5 crore, then the registered supplier has an option to follow QRMP. It is not mandatory. They can follow it optionally. Sir, my aggregate turnover in the last financial year is within 5 crore. Can I still file GSTR 1 and 3B monthly? Yes, I can do it. This is an option given. It is not mandatory. Yes. So if they are following QRMP, they will pay tax monthly but file returns quarterly. That is GSTR 1 as well as 3B, guys. Okay. Opting of QRMP is GST IN wise. Assume I have taken 3 registration. One is in Karnataka, the other one is in Tamil Nadu, the last one is in Telangana. So for all 3 states, should I follow QRMP? Nothing like that. I can choose any one or two or all 3 for QRMP remaining monthly. For example, assume Karnataka I am following QRMP. The other 2 states I am following monthly. Is it possible? Yes, that's possible. That is possible. Yes, sir. Destined person can avail QRMP scheme option for one or more GST IN, guys. So in simple, following QRMP is registration wise. Okay. So what are the different due dates under the QRMP scheme? First of all, sir, when can I choose QRMP scheme? There is a totally time period. Guys, the time period is like this. When can I follow QRMP is first day of the second month of the previous quarter till the last day of the first month of the quarter for which I want to follow QRMP. Didn't understand? I repeat, I repeat, I repeat. Assume I want to follow the QRMP for the next quarter. So in the current quarter, what is the second month I need to choose? So from the first day of the second month in the current quarter till the last day of the first month of next quarter, I have a time to avail or to choose QRMP. Let me explain this with an example. Just a minute. Oh, so you can observe here. Assume I want to follow QRMP scheme for April, May, June quarter. Okay. So which is the previous quarter? Jan, Feb, March. Which is the second month there? February. So from 1st February to last day of the first month, that is 30th April. So I have time to choose QRMP from year to year, guys. Is that clear? Sir, even after the quarter start, can I choose QRMP? Yes, but within 30th of the first month or within the end of the first month. of that quarter. Okay. One more example. Assume I want to follow QRMP for Jan, Feb, March quarter, which is the previous quarter, guys. Sir, October, November, December. October, November, December, which is the second month there, November. So take 1st November. Till when, sir? Till last day of the first month. That is 31st January. So within this time, I can choose QRMP scheme for Jan, Feb and March quarter, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Fine. So what are the different due dates here? Now, if I am following QRMP, I will file my GSTR1 quarterly. Yes, sir. But if the recipients wants to claim credit immediately, who have purchased the goods or services from me in the first and second month of the quarter, then I can give the details of outward supply made to B2B recipients. That is, recipients are registered. For the first 2 months, whatever supplies I have made to them, I can give the details of that using invoice furnishing facility, guys. Okay, first, what is the due date to file GSTR1? 13th of the month succeeding each quarter. Succeeding each quarter. So for April, May, June, it is 13th July. Yes, sir. Sir, but whoever has purchased or whoever has taken inward supply from me for April and May cannot wait till July to claim the credit. So what do we do, sir? In that case, that sales or outward supplies, whatever I have made, I am a person who is following QRMP. Yes. For whatever outward supplies I have made in the first 2 months of the quarters, I can give the details of that using invoice furnishing facility. Invoice furnishing facility. Within what time, sir? Within 13th of the month succeeding each month. Within 13th of next month. Simple. So for example, for whatever sales I have made in April for a registered recipients, only for registered recipients, because if recipients are not registered, they are anyway not eligible to claim credit. Why should they have to hurry? Clear? Yes. So whatever sales I have made in April to the registered recipients, I can give the details between 1st May to 13th May using what? Invoice furnishing facility, guys. Sir, what about the remaining supplies? Assume few of the recipients, even though they are registered, still they are not in a hurry to claim credit. In that case, can I give the details in GSTR1 only? Yes. And what about the unregistered recipients? Whatever outward supplies I have made to unregistered recipients, I will give it in GSTR1 itself. Even for the last month, that is April, May, June, that is last month of the quarter, that is June. Whatever outward supplies I have made for both registered as well as unregistered recipients, I will give the details in GSTR1 itself. GSTR1 itself. So to summarize this, guys, listen here. Assume I am a supplier who is registered under QRMP scheme, who is following QRMP scheme. Okay. Now, for Jan, Feb, March, I am following QRMP. So for Jan, whatever outward supplies I have made, if it is for a registered recipients who wants to claim the credit immediately, I can give the details in IFF within 13th February, but only for B2B supply. Okay, same way for February. Whatever outward supplies I have made for B2B, I can give the details using IFF within 13th March. Within 13th March. Others, I can give it in GSTR1 only. That is B2C supplies or else B2B, but recipients are not in urgent to claim credit. Even in that case, I can give the details in GSTR1, guys. Clear? Ka? Yes. Whereas for the last month of the quarter, entire supply details, I will give it in GSTR1 only. Within what time, sir? Within 13th April. For all supplies. So listen here, listen here. So what details has to be given in GSTR1, guys? Come on. What details has to be given in GSTR1? Whatever is not given in IFF for the first 2 months plus all the supplies made in the last month. All the supplies made in the last month. So in simple, if I have to tell again, sir, what details has to be given in IFF is the outward supplies made to registered recipient in the first 2 months of any quarter. And is it always to disclose, mandatory to disclose all the B2B supplies? No, no, no. Only if recipient is in a hurry, then or in urgent, we can give the details in IFF. If not, can I give all the details in GSTR1 only? Yes. I need not even use IFF. If my recipients are ready to wait, Then Jan sales, Feb sales, March sales, all the details I can give it in GSTR1 only, guys. GSTR1 itself. Is that clear? Yes. So even IFF is like an option given to a person who is following QRMP scheme to give the details of outward supply made to a registered recipient in the first 2 months of any quarter, guys. Okay. I have repeated again and again because I know students somewhere might be confused with this concept. That is why I took it number of time, guys. Okay. So GSTR1 data done. Next, what is the due date to file GSTR 3B? 22nd or 24th of the month succeeding each quarter. I already discussed for which states it is 22nd, for which states it is 24th. Yes, sir. Okay. Sir, what is the due date to pay tax? We discussed under QRMP scheme, payment of taxes monthly, whereas returns filing is quarterly. 1 and 3B you will file quarterly, but pay tax monthly. So for the first 2 months of the quarter, the due date is 25th of next month. For April, 25th May. For May, 25th June. Okay. Whereas for the last month, it is the due date to file GSTR 3B, guys. For the last month of the quarter, the due date to pay taxes, the due date to file GSTR 3B, which is 22nd or 24th of the month succeeding each quarter. Is that clear? So if I have to tell, so in this example, if I take, what is the due date to pay GST for January means 25th February. For February, 25th March. Whereas for March, it depends on the states. It is either 22nd April or 24th April. Got it? Yes, sir. Okay. So before we proceed further, here for the first 2 months of the quarter, guys, the person who is under QRMP scheme has an option. They can either choose fixed sum method or they can choose self-assessment method. Self-assessment means very easy. Whatever they are supposed to pay, they have to calculate it on self-assessment basis and pay it. Whereas fixed sum method means it is system generated amount and it depends on the GSTR 3B filed for the past period. Sir, how is it? I will just try to explain it with an example. Yes. Now assume in the past period. So please be careful, guys. This fixed sum method option is available only for the first 2 months. So for the first 2 months, the due date is 25th of next month, right? Yes. So the QRMP person, the QRMP person can either choose fixed sum method or self-assessment method. Okay. So in the previous tax period, assume the return is filed quarterly, that is GSTR 3B is filed quarterly. So check as per GSTR 3B, how much money is paid through electronic cash ledger. Take 35% of it. Take how much? 35% of it. So in the previous quarter, as per GSTR 3B, the following amount has been paid through cash ledger. So take 35% of it, guys. So this much amount has to be paid for both the months. That is for July as well as August. That is the current quarter. July, August, September. So previous quarter means April, May, June, guys. April, May, June. So previous period, the return was filed quarterly. So in that case, whatever amount is paid through cash ledger is for 3 months. So 3 months means how much is equal to 1 month? 33.33. They told 0.33 decimal and all not required. They have taken 35%. So for the first 2 months. Is that clear? Whereas for the last month, it has to be done on actual calculation basis. Clear? Yes, sir. Then, sir, what if I am following QRMP for the first time for July, August, and September quarter? Whereas for the last period, that is June, I filed GSTR 3B monthly. So for the last period, if GSTR 3B is filed monthly, then we need to take 100% of the tax liability as per GSTR 3B of June, which is paid through electronic cash ledger, guys. Take 100% of it. So this much amount has to be paid for both July and August, guys. So for July, I need to pay this amount on or before 25th August. Same amounts has to be paid even for August on or before 25th September. Is that clear? So please always check the previous tax period whether the return is filed quarterly or monthly. If it is quarterly, we need to take 35% for each first 2 months. Whereas if it is monthly, we need to straight away take 100%. Is that clear? And whatever we calculate here is for each month, not both the months put together. It is for each month. Yes. And as it is a system generated amount, will it be exactly equal to our actual tax liability? No, guys. So if there is any difference, we need to pay it before filing GSTR 3B for the quarter. Okay. You can just see you assume this is the amount which we have paid as per fixed sum method, which is a system generated amount 35,000 for January as well as February. Okay, system calculated amount. We have paid it. But as per GSTR 3B, I have disclosed my actual tax liability for each of the month in the quarter, Jan, Feb, and March. It is coming to 40, 45, and 50. So my actual tax liability for a quarter is 1,35,000. Okay, which is 40 in January, 45 in February, and 50 in March. So that means there is a shortfall in January 5,000, February 10,000. Will there be any interest charged? No, guys. So this 5 plus 10 plus 50 totally comes to how much? 65, which is nothing but 1,35,000 is the total liability for a quarter. We already paid 70, remaining is how much? 65, which includes 50 plus 5 plus 10. Even this shortfalls. If this 65,000 is paid before filing GSTR 3B, that is before 22nd April or 24th April, depending upon the states, then there is no interest on 5,000 or 10,000, guys. There won't be any interest. There won't be any interest. But if this 65,000 is not paid, if it is not paid, then interest would be levied under section 50, which is at 18%. Okay. So here interest will be on 5,000 from when? For January, what is the due date? 25th February, right? So interest on 5,000 will start from 26th February. Not after these dates. If you don't pay within this due date, then interest will start from the due date of payment of GST. That is the succeeding date. So for January, the due date is 25th February. So it will start from 26th February. Here also for February, what is the due date to payment? For payment, 25th March. So the interest will start on 10,000 from 26th March. Whereas if this 50,000 is delayed, if it is not paid on time, the interest would be succeeding day after the due date of filing GSTR 3 guys. So if due date is 22nd April, interest will start from 23rd April, or if the due date is 24th April, the interest will start from 25th April. Got it? Yes. So this interest calculation and all, I don't think they will test you at intermediate level, but still good to know. Good to know. If you want, you can just pause and see. So if entire 65,000 is paid within the due date of filing GSTR 3B, then no interest at all, guys. If it is not paid within the due date, then interest will start succeeding the day of the due date for payment of GST. Whatever is the due date to pay GST, from the next day, interest would start. Got it? Yes, sir. Okay. So this is all about the QRMP scheme, guys. Okay. Again, I am repeating, QRMP scheme is for the person who is under section 9. Yes. Next, if the person who is registered under GST is supposed to file the returns but not filing, then the proper officer can issue a notice for them. Yes. So what is it? Is given in section 46, read with rule 68. A notice in prescribed form, that is GSTR 3A, shall be issued electronically to a registered person who fails to furnish return under section 39, which is normal return, or section 44, which is annual return, or section 45, that is final return, or section 52, which is TCS statement. Yes. TCS statement. Yes, sir. Then the notice would require to be issued to whom? Registered person to furnish the return within 15 days. So the proper officer would be issuing the notice as per section 46 to file the returns within the 15 days. This is only when return is not filed within the due date. And there will also be a late fee for delay in filing the returns as per section 47. But what is the amount of late fee is not a part of your intermediate syllabus. It is a big headache actually. What is the amount of late fee? But anyway, it's not a part of your syllabus, guys. Okay. Delay in filing any of the following returns by their respective due dates attracts the late fee. that is statement of outward supply under section 37, that is GSTR 1. Returns including returns under QRMP scheme under section 39. Guys, there are number of returns under section 39. I have given it in this table. You can see from 3B it starts. All this returns comes under section 39. Yes, sir. Okay, going back. Then final return under section 45. Then section 52 TCS statement. Yes, sir. Then the late fee payable by a registered person for delayed filing of return under section 47 is with reference to only the CGST Act. An equivalent amount of late fee is payable by such person under the respective SGST Acts or UDGST Act as well. But anyway, as I told you, the amount of late fee is not a part of your syllabus. The late fee can be waived off partially or fully by the central government, and accordingly it has been rationalized, guys. For delay in filing GSTR 1, 3B, 4, 7 and 9, the amount of late fee has been rationalized. But the good news is it is not a part of your intermediate syllabus. Yes, there is one more return under GST, that is first return. When it should be filed, we will understand. Guys, in registration topic, we have learned when a person is liable for registration as per section 22 or even 24, he need to apply for registration within 30 days as per section 25. Yes, sir. So assume a person was liable for registration on 1st January. He applied for registration on 15th January in REG 01. So did he apply within 30 days? Yes, sir. And registration was granted on 20th January. Registration was granted on 20th January in REG 06, that is registration certificate. Okay. So as per rule 10, what is the effective date of registration? This R stands for registration. Okay. So as per rule 10, what is the effective date of registration, guys? The date on which a person was liable for registration. Yes, sir. So he or she is called as registered person from 1st January. And for whatever supplies has been made between this period, that is from 1st January to 20th January, a revised tax invoice has to be issued within 1 month from 20th January. That is within 1 month from here, a revised tax invoice has to be issued for the supplies made between these days. And also the first return, whatever the registered person will file, that is it might be GSTR 1 or 3B, whichever returns. Okay, there is no separate form number for first return. Whatever return the registered person is supposed to file, in that he should include the details of supplies made between 1st January to 20th January. That's all about first return, guys. I have given here all the supplies made between 1st January to 20th January has to be included in the first return. Whichever return they are filing, no, in that they have to include the supplies made between 1st January to 20th January. Got it? Yeah, now we will learn the last topic under this chapter, that is section 48, which talks about GSTP, that is goods and service tax practitioner. Now if I am willing to act as a GSTP, first I need to register on the GST portal, guys. There is a procedure for it. I will just show you here from my provision book. Yes. Procedure for enrollment as GSTP. So I need to fill a form or make an application in PCT01. PCT stands for practitioner. Okay, that yes, I am eligible to act as a GST practitioner. I need to make an application and I am willing to act as a GST practitioner. Yes. And once if I am eligible, they will grant me the GSTP certificate in GST PCT 0. I should also make sure that I have passed the examination conducted by NASIN, that is National Academy of Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, guys. Okay, sir. Then, sir, who is eligible to act as GSTP means? Guys, it is based on experience. So, based on experience, the first 2 points it is given you. Yes. And the second one is based on the qualification. Based on qualification means if I am having any UG or PG degree under the Indian universities or even under the foreign university, or even if I have passed the final examination of CA or CS or CMA, I am eligible to act as a GST practitioner, but I need to pass the examination conducted by NASIN, guys. Is that clear? Yes. And even if a person is acting as GSTP based on the experience given here in the first 2 bullet points, they have to pass the examination conducted by the NASIN within 30 months. Within 30 months, guys. Yes. Okay. Now, once this person has enrolled himself as GSTP on the GST portal, now assume you are a registered person under GST. Now you are not able to comply with the GST provision by yourself. You might not have any idea about it, or else you are really busy. So in that case, can you assign your task with respect to GST compliance to a GST practitioner? Yes. But you need not share your user ID and password. You need to just go to your profile and select anyone. Assume you are selecting me as a GST practitioner. So I will have my own user ID and password. Using that, I can do all the things what you are supposed to do under GST. Filing your returns, payment, responding to the notice, everything I can do. Whatever you are supposed to do under GST, everything on behalf of you, I can do it. But through my user ID and password. Should you share your user ID and password to me? No. Assume on any day you didn't like my work. I am not so responsible. So you are not liking the way I am working. So can you unselect me and select the other person? Yes. Any day you can unselect on your profile. You can unselect Vikas as GST practitioner and select anyone else. There will be list of people name who is willing to act as a GSTP for you. You can select anyone, whomever you feel as suitable. Got it? Yes, sir. So what are the activities a GSTP can undertake on behalf of a registered person? I have given the list here. Furnish the details of outward supply, furnish monthly, annual, or final return, then make a deposit for credit into the electronic cash ledger, furnish information for generation of e-way bill, furnish details of challan in the prescribed form, file an intimation to pay tax under the composition scheme or withdraw from the said scheme, file a claim for refund if at all if the registered person is eligible, and file an application for amendment or cancellation of registration. Also, he is allowed to appear as an authorized representative before any officer or of department, appellate authority, appellate tribunal on behalf of such registered person, provided he is enrolled as GSTP under Rule 83. For example, assume you are supposed to go and present yourself in a court or a tribunal or appellate tribunal. Now, on behalf of you, can I go and represent? Yes, I can do it. Okay. Furnishing return through GSTP. Now assume you are filing your returns through GSTP. Now who is responsible if anything goes wrong? You. So you should ensure that whatever details I am giving in the returns on behalf of you is everything is true and correct. If anything goes wrong, the department will not question me, they will question you. Got it? Yes. When a registered person opts to furnish his returns through GSTP, then such person, that is such registered person, gives his consent in the prescribed form to any GSTP to prepare and furnish his return. Yes. So you have to give your consent so that I can file the returns on behalf of you. Then before confirming submission of any statement prepared by GSTP, ensure that the facts mentioned in the return are true and correct. Okay, sir. Thus, the responsibility for the correctness of any particular furnished in the return or the other details filed by the GSTP continues to rest with the registered person, guys. Yes, sir. So finally, we are done with the syllabus. Come to the section list. We'll quickly mark. And I just want you guys, I want to give few inputs to you. I will do it. But before that, we'll just mark the section. Yes, guys. So we have covered all the sections. 42, 43 anyway is omitted. 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48, guys. Yes, sir. So finally, we are done with the complete revision of taxation, guys. So my responsibility, I have tried to do my best to cover the maximum syllabus of taxation, both income tax and GST in less amount of time. So less amount of time when compared to regular class. I know because I have done income tax revision for almost 20 hours and even GST revision for almost 20 hours. But guys, I have tried to cover maximum and I have tried to explain in a best possible way. And I hope it was very helpful for you. If yes, do like, share, and also make sure that you score exemption in taxation exam, guys. That is very, very important. So please prepare well, plan well, even for the exam days. How do you prepare and from which book do you prefer? All that now itself you please jot it down, guys. So you please write it somewhere because on the exam day you will have only 1.5 day time, so you may not be able to study each and everything 100%. So please plan for it now itself. Sir, from which book do you study? How do you study? which all questions you will solve, because even all the questions you will not be able to solve. But now you please solve it. Okay, make use of the question bank. Question bank is available for both income tax as well as GST, in which I have also given the solutions. Please make use of it, guys. That is very, very important. Students will sometimes know the provision, but they may not know how to present it. So I have given the solutions in my question bank, the way it has to be presented in the exams. Please make use of it. And please practice at least writing few questions, which is very, very important, guys. Yes. And I just want to tell one quote is there, which is actually at the end of my provision book. I will just read it. No one is to blame for your future situation but yourself. If you want to be successful, then become successful. Guys, you might have hundreds of reasons not to study, not to write the exams, but one strong reasons what you have to be studying is, sir, to add that prefix in front of your name. You started this course with a purpose. Make sure that you finish it successfully, no matter how hard it is. And also, guys, sometimes when you're studying, you feel like, sir, whatever I'm studying, I am feeling that I'm forgetting it. I'm not able to retain everything in mind. Guys, it happens to any student, including me when I was a student. So don't worry about all that. Just trust yourself, have that confidence, prepare well, go through, but make sure when you're studying, you're doing with full attention. Don't have any distractions around you, so that when you're studying, whatever you're studying, maximum is retained in your mind. Got it? If you get any self doubt, please try to avoid it, because that might lose, or that may take away your confidence, or that might put your confidence down. Yes, guys. So I want all of you to pass with exemption in taxation paper, and I'm very sure that you will do it. All the best, guys.